All right. Well, welcome on everybody. I go by CorporateImage. You could call me Corp for short. We're going to be playing Robotrek, and I'm very happy to introduce PJ DeCaesar, the current, as far as I know, the current world record holder for both Robotrek and Slapstick. Has just done a ton of work into this game. So, yeah, we'll get started soon.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for that super generous intro.
Oh.
And for getting my last name right. That's the most impressive part.
I may have paid attention. All right, let's do this from the start. What is it? Where's the Q, F, E? All right, so we'll get started. Timer, so 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Welcome to Robotrek. This game is fantastic. A sleeper hit from the SNES, for sure. This game is super silly. It's one of Quintet's, 6 games for the SNES. It is quite a departure from the tone of their other games. The Japanese title is Slapstick, as Corp mentioned earlier. It does not take itself or anything else seriously. It's quite a trip. So we are the son of the famous inventor, Dr. Akihabara. We are also an aspiring inventor. So a lot of the game revolves around just like collecting a bunch of stuff that you can combine into other better stuff. So right out of the gates, Corp goes up and grabs 2 cures. They heal your robots. A clean, which it dispels the corrosion status effect. But we're probably never going to see that. If we see that, something terrible has happened.
Yep.
And some extra money. So there was money in the bookshelf that we stole from our dad, and then money in that person's front lawn that we dug up. And away we go. We gotta go pay our respects to the mayor, because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, will he get in front of me? Oh, okay. Sometimes Dr. Einstein likes to step in front of you and can't get out immediately. Not today.
Mr. MV special. Yeah, so we go say hi to the mayor and then we can come back home. Our dad lives somewhere else. He lives down the road from us. Not actually sure whose house this is.
Yeah.
We inherited this, or...
It's like you move into the city, but you have a suburb house, so... I don't know. But can't leave the cat. Leave the cat.
No. So our dad leaves, he goes back home, tells us to read this book. The robot book is an heirloom. Robots will help you, like your friends do sometimes. So you read the book, now you can make a robot, and there's some cash there too. So the first thing that we have to do is go build a robot. So Robotrek is kind of like proto-Pokemon. I think this came out before Pokemon. This is like 94, and Pokemon is, like 98 or something. So our main character doesn't fight stuff, because we're just an inventor. We build murder bots instead that will take care of all the combat for us. So throughout the game, there are these invention machines. They appear in all the R&D rooms, and then also after you level up, which is really important. And we'll be mentioning quite a lot of that throughout the run. So you can do a ton of stuff at these. The most important right now is that you can build a robot. If you give these cool little helper guys some cash, they'll build a robot for you. Yeah, and we can give them a name, and away we go. Who's this guy gonna be? Ampersand.
You gotta respect it.
Alright, so Robotrek is 5 speed, right? Yeah. Robotrek's really cool in that you can adjust your robot stats freely at any point when you're at an invention machine. And HP is counted as a stat. That's the energy stat there. So it's pretty unique in that you can just, like, straight from level 1, take all of your HP and put it into power and just smash things. So we're doing a stat distribution of what was it, 12, 22, 5 or something.
Yep.
Maybe 28. It doesn't really matter. The point is that we're giving ourselves just a tiny bit of health to survive hits. And then the rest is going to go into power. And speed is used for hit rate. So we need exactly enough speed to make sure that we can hit every single enemy that we can run into until our next stat reallocation point. And then the other thing, a feature that probably doesn't get a whole lot of use in casual runs, or a whole lot of productive use in casual runs, I should say, is the program menu. So you can program like these macros for your robot that are combinations of their equipment attacks. So a combination of right arm, left arm, and back. And there are a few of those that are just absolutely devastating if you know what they do. So the main one that we're going to be using is RXR, which is right arm, back, right arm, or melee weapon, bomb, melee weapon. And what that does is teleport your robot in front of each enemy in the encounter and swing once. So if you have the right stats and you know what that command does, it's just an instant win button for a majority of the game, and it's completely free. So, yeah, super useful. And then the other important business before we really get things rolling is going to the junk shop. There's no, weapon shop and item shop and stuff. Well, I guess technically this is an item shop, but you can't just go and buy equipment. Instead, your equipment is going to be based on, the scraps that you find. You're going to be combining them together to make new and better equipment. So, the junk shop owner recognizes that we're the son of Dr. Akihabara and gives us some garbage, Scrap 2 and Scrap 3, which are used to make equipment. And then Corp buys a bunch of other things. He buys 2 repairs. Those revive your robot. They're not useful right now. If our robot dies, we get a game over. But later we'll get 2 robots, and you can use a repair to rebuild one if it dies. And then a bunch of smokes, which are used to escape from combat, just like your traditional smoke bomb. But more importantly for this game, if you use a smoke bomb in the field, it freezes every enemy in place. So you can run around and avoid encounters. So we go and visit our dad. We want to show him the cool robot that we made. We want to show him Ampersand. Our dad is getting strong-armed by some hackers. They're bad guys. They're mean. They go and kick sandcastles down, and they loiter, and they park illegally. All the traditional evil things. And they realized that they weren't getting anywhere with him. He scared them away with the surprise horn that he made. So they decided to try and take us hostage instead. But Ampersand is here to save the day. So that's the power of RXR. Just teleports directly in front of the enemy and slaps him. So one limitation of RXR is that if they're... the battle was really quick, so you probably didn't notice, but there are these capsules that appear in the battlefield. And when you're teleporting in front of the enemy, if you teleport onto a capsule, the capsule will explode, and then the capsule explosion will supersede your sword swing. So the enemy will get hit or not hit by the capsule explosion, and instead of taking a lethal swing, they'll take 0 damage and then kill you. So we have to always be mindful of where the capsules are placed. Safety save.
Yeah, because the beginning of Robotrek is, in my opinion, the scariest part of the run, because at any time you could, if you make a mistake, you game over to some enemies. Not all of them, but so until we get our second robot, I'll be taking some extra safety saves.
Yeah, we have taken 0 guard. We have no defense right now. And some of the enemies do quite a lot of damage. Like the mushrooms and the little wind-up robots are okay. But these birds will do...
Oh boy.
A bunch, 4 maybe? Miss.
Yep.
The critical miss.
Yeah, this
got
bird...
the calculator up. I'm actually really curious to see what that chance is.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh no. Stop. Well. Okay. Well.
9.
It's fine. Oh. It happens.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
See, that's why we were just demonstrating why you save.
Yeah. you know, Nintendo has a history with birds, and they're not nice sometimes. It's okay. But yeah, based on how you get encounters in this game, you want to run into an enemy directly, adjacently essentially. If you brush up next to them, you get an encounter and they get initiative, which can be bad. So that bird in particular is the most scary enemy in this early game until we run into spiders, and spiders are always scary. Okay, this should be much better.
Punching in some numbers, that bird has a hit rate of 87%, or rather, we have a hit rate on the bird of 87%. So a 1 in 8 chance that you will not hit the bird. It's just not a good investment to try and put enough points into speed to guarantee that you hit him, because then you'll be losing power. So it's just, you gotta hope that you don't fight the bird, and if you do, you just hope that you get the 7/8 chance of hitting. But yeah, that's the importance of saving. If all of your robots are destroyed, you get a game over, but we only have 1 robot, so yeah. And it's just not economically feasible to put points into defense right now. We only have so many stat points. You start with 40 and you get 10 per level. You've been getting some beefy encounters here. I haven't been tracking what your experience is at.
Yeah, I'm at 1.7, so I need to avoid doubles until I get to the encounter after the drill. So
right. So the experience is really important for the early game. Like I mentioned before, you only have access to the invention machine if you go into an R&D room or after you level. So Corp is trying to manage his experience here. It takes 2.0 experience to reach level 2. So we're just tracking our experience in these first few areas to try and get it to, I mean, ideally 1.8. 1.7 is good. You're guaranteed a level if you get 2 or 3 gels.
Yep.
Normally what happens to me if I have 1.7 is I get 1 and then I need another battle.
You have to reload the room and it just feels bad.
So it's really important that we get a level at this particular spot because Dr. Einst here... Alright, so what's going on is that there are a bunch of kids from Rococo that went into the cave to explore or do kid things, and they got stuck. So Dr. Einst is the best scientist ever, and he's gonna save the day, and he blew up the cave even more. So they're extremely stuck now. So we have to go try and save them. And to clear the rubble away, we need an item called Drill. And you create the drill by combining the rusty drill, which is in this capsule, with a clean. So the room that we have to drill through is just north here, and there's a gel that's directly in front of the door.
Nice.
So, like, ideally we just fight this dude, and there are 2 of them. Or 3 of them. Perfect. And we reach level 2 right here, we make the rusty drill, and we don't have to do any deviations. We can just go. Otherwise, you have to go all the way back to your house and use the invention machine that's in the R&D room in your living room. So, just really convenient routing. I actually don't remember in this route if we have to manage our experience to use a portable R&D.
Yeah, we'll use it once more, I think, for Shield 5.
Right, for Shield 5.
And that's...
in the airbase, I think.
It's like the most important one.
Yeah.
Alright,
So other important things in level 2. Corp combined Scrap 5 with a Clean to make Shield 2. Shield 2 just gives, like... this item is ridiculous. The amount of value that you get out of it early is just beyond measure. It gives you, I think, 8 defense and 6 speed. Maybe that's backwards.
Yeah, just this value of speed is incredible. How far it can go in the early game.
Yeah, it gives us 12 defense and 8 speed. Yeah, it's just enormous. So our hit rate is much higher, or rather, our evasion rate is much higher. Our hit rate is still 100%. But now I don't think there's anything that should be able to hit us. or rather, if we get hit, we're gonna mitigate most of the damage because of the guard, and we're guaranteed to hit everything, as long as we get initiative in the combat. Yeah, it's essentially 2 full levels worth of stats. The other really nice thing is that Shield 2 gives us immunity to corrosion. So, I guess it's not super important, except for the first boss. But throughout the game, there are some enemies that can apply corrosion stats or a corrosion status. And when you're at the point where you have 1 HP, even if an attack misses, it can still apply status effects. So you sometimes get into these cases where, like, an enemy hits you and misses and poisons you, and the poison tick kills you before you get into action.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be running our primary robot at a very low HP for pretty much the whole run. So that 1 point of damage from corrosion can make all the difference. Is it really too noisy? There we go. Okay.
It's the flowing water there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Alright, so we saved the kids. They went back home except for one kid named Carl. He's the son of the receptionist at the mayor's office. So we went and we told the mayor that we did a great job, and Dr. Einz didn't. He rewards us, and then the secretary, or receptionist, tells us to go try and save Carl. So we have to go back in and do our best there. The spiders here are just devastating. There is no way to kill them without a large investment. Enemies in this game can be resistant to certain attacks and certain types of attacks, and spiders are resistant to the run command, which is a bit confusing. It's not the escape command, it's the macros that we programmed. So using RXR against them, I think they have a 7/8 damage reduction against it. So unless you have just an absurd amount of power, you can't kill them with that attack. Oh, he dropped a thing that could have been punch.
Oh. What? I will be trying to pick up some capsules throughout the run, especially if they're on the way. And there's some we can't avoid not picking up because there'll be some narrow corridors that we have to walk through, and then a capsule will spawn. But some are very helpful, others might be helpful. There's one later that I might go for just because, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, this run is very, very gold efficient. So we actually, unless things change, we don't actually need any lucky drops. All of the money that we need is accounted for in the route, which is great, because some of the other routes were like, you would need certain drops from certain enemies, or else you would have to make a pretty major deviation to pick up cash somewhere. So these enemies can drop like repairs, they can drop punch 1 in very rare cases, they can drop like 100 to 200 gold, but really none of that matters. It's a pretty big relief.
Alright, Kotetsu, where will you be? No! Okay, no! Oh. So Kotetsu, well, he'll introduce himself later. This man with a fetter on his leg, he needs a way out. He doesn't want to be here anymore. But where he's standing in the upper right is the worst spot he could be, because he purposely walks around you to go talk to this guard to distract him. So we want him to be as close to the bottom left as possible, and that's just up to RNG. Oh.
It's so good too that he walks around you and like goes back to the right wall before he proceeds going down, instead of just, walking to the left and then down. It's really good. Great padding.
Gotta make a point.
So we are able to kill every enemy in this dungeon except for the spiders. The spiders we absolutely do not want to be near, and when they just play security guard like this, you just lose. Like, you can't do anything. The best you could do is force an encounter and then use a smoke bomb. Because after an encounter, the enemy is like, they're flickering and you can't trigger another battle. But I don't know, it always feels bad to waste smoke bombs like that, because you can get into situations where like you really are jammed and you need to use a smoke bomb. And if you run out, you're in big trouble. So this whole cave, while we're looking for Carl, we accidentally discovered like this whole mining operation. Metacrab, the guy with the full crab as a head. We overheard him talking about looking for something very important, and tells the hackers to continue digging. So, yeah, we stumbled on something important. Metacrab is back here taking a bath. We're gonna cook him, because doing so opens up the door. And then we steal the key from the locker. There's also like a cure and a clean back here. I don't know if those are important anymore.
I picked up one extra clean in the shop. It's really not necessary, but I like to have 2 after Metacrab.
Okay.
I usually
Cure
use 1.
or clean?
The cure.
Cure, okay. Yeah, I like to have an extra too. So this monitor turned on. It's pretty nice. The monitor is the Metacrab's boss, who is trying to check in. He doesn't recognize that we're not Metacrab because the screen's blurry. So he gives us the instructions that we're supposed to be for Metacrab instead. Alright, we level up to 3. The important thing here is to combine Shot 1, which we unequipped in favor of Shield 2. We want to combine that with Scrap 2 to make Shot 2. It's just a slightly stronger gun. We're just going to be using this for 1 fight, but it's worth the time investment to upgrade it just for this 1 fight. And we're reallocating our stats. This is just to optimize for the upcoming boss fight. I think even with speed 0, with having shield 2 equipped, we're still able to hit all of the commanders. I think, so there's not any danger there. But, yeah, we really don't want the next boss fight to linger too long, because he's quite powerful, and again, our resources are pretty limited. So, yeah, taking the time to upgrade the gun is pretty worthwhile.
Yeah, now that we got level 3, we want to do our best to try to avoid enemies. Oh, not this guy.
Yeah,
this guy's like a 50-50 chance of seeing you. Unfortunately, I was holding right. I shouldn't have done that, but okay.
It's okay, we have the shield. This is the power of the extra guard. It is pretty nice too, because we just got the level and shifted our speed points into guard. So that attack will do even less damage. It's kind of annoying though, because we enter Metacrab with 10 health instead of 12. So the cycles will be a little bit awkward. As long as you're careful about your cure use, there shouldn't be any danger. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
so,
just one off, one tile.
Yeah, so close. If you scroll that guy off screen, he's just gone. Yeah, so Corp he overran the door to try and get rid of that commander, but didn't quite go far enough. I really like that he lost aggro after that encounter, though.
Yeah, there was a small chance I could have got through there, but I decided to play it a little safe and instead just take the fight.
Save. You have to save back there. Oh, no, you don't? I learned something. I was saved outside. Alright, so, Metacrab, here's Carl. That's the little boy we need to save. He's holding his own, though. He's clobbering Metacrab. Metacrab has, like, 5 different attacks. What we want is for him to summon these tiny little crabs, because they waste time. And then he has 3 different sine wave ball attacks. Purple and yellow are okay. Blue is not the one that we want. I think yellow has a chance of stopping and purple has a chance of corrosion, but we're immune to that. Stop doesn't matter to us. It prevents you from using run commands and it prevents you from moving, but we're just going to hold our ground and shoot. The other thing that Metacrab can do is pummel you if you're too close. The blue ball did 1, wow. So we're holding our distance here. You can see that the damage went up. He was doing 18 damage, now he's doing 22. The ranged weapons in this game actually like decay in power as you're farther away, which is a really cool thing. So the closer you are, the more damage you do. Metacrab should die in 10 shots.
Should be one more.
Probably just
Oh no!
one more.
Oh no! Don't do it!
Don't walk!
Okay.
Don't walk! Don't walk!
Okay. Whew.
5 is a pretty lucky roll. I
Yeah,
think.
it usually
take
does
that.
between like 5 and 8, and
Yeah.
you can expect 6 and 7, but
Right.
okay. Everything's fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're kind of on a timer there. Metacrab can only walk so far, and he'll only choose to walk forward. Let's see, it's 22 speed, right? Yes. He only chooses to walk forward every like 5 or 6 turns or something. So you want to make sure that you stand at a certain distance. So that your first few rounds will do 18. Metacrab has 200 health. So you want to be averaging 20 damage per round to kill him in 10 turns. And when Metacrab walks forward, you average 22 damage, 22, 23. So that spacing works out really well. It gives him one free forward walk without killing us, and we kill him before his second one usually. But it all depends on what he does. If you get lucky with the tiny crab spawns, he takes fewer actions because they use up some of the ATB. So any fight that survives is a great fight.
Exactly. The early game is so scary compared to the late game, so
Yeah,
I'm happy.
for sure. Yeah, and pretty much like every fight that survives Metacrab is going to end up being roughly the same time anyways, because it's like a turn counter fight. It's basically Demon Wall. Alright, so we saved Carl. He tells us that he found their special loot. No matter which capsule we take, we get scrap 1, and he finds... what does he find there? I wasn't paying attention. Was that litho, or was that stone
the
one?
litho. And then I think he picks up the Tetron elsewhere, and he just gives it to
Okay.
us. Bird! Okay. The bird was facing left, and that's not good, but he wasn't interested.
Yeah, you could see with like the stat distribution that we took after the Metacrab fight might seem weird. We took 3 health, and then 22 speed, and then all the rest went into power. The 3 health that we took is specifically for birds. For the escape, in case we get into a bird encounter, they won't kill us in one hit. They'll do 1 or 2 damage. They'll never do 3. And there's one more screen where we usually get into a bird encounter. So the 3 health is like absolutely critical anti-bird strats. So Carl felt bad that we just got garbage from saving him, so he gives us this shiny stone 1. That's a legendary invention from our ancestor that we'll learn about later. But yeah, we have it now. We decided to go visit our father because Nagisa told us to.
One of the best jokes right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this. So the hackers were looking for our father. And the hackers leave the house and they get spooked by their own theme song.
It's so good. Like, when I first played this, I thought the cat meowed, and they got scared of that. That would have been great too, but their own theme song is just perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, so our father tells us that, you know, if he... I don't even know what he said. Did he say he's going on a trip?
Yeah, he says he's going on a trip, and that if anything bad happens to him, do what I always tell you to do, which is pay respects to your ancestors.
You still have gun equips, don't you?
Nope. I did a
Oh, you
quick
did
swap.
Good. Nice.
That would be scary.
Yep, I've made that mistake before.
Oh yeah.
Then you use a smoke bomb and you apologize and you run away. So these enemies are monks. They will for sure kill us. But if we get initiative, we are guaranteed to kill them. The 22 speed is so that we are guaranteed to hit every encounter in this next dungeon. So yeah, again, it's just important that we make sure that we run into the enemies in a very specific way, so that we get to go first. If an enemy goes first, it's a game over. Well, almost surely a game over.
Yeah, these monks also frequently drop repairs, so I will double back in case I see it. If an enemy drops a capsule, if you scroll it off screen, it disappears for good. So just pick and choose what you're gonna stay around for, or go back for, rather.
Yeah, repairs are always worth it. Repairs are the one item that we have to make sure we stock up on. This grave has a ton of good loot. There was another shield too that we pick up. That's going to help our second robot. There is an Axe 1, which we are certainly going to use. Axe is the strongest melee weapon class. The damage is outrageous, especially as you level it up. And then there's 1,000 gold in the right chest. So every weapon in the game has an equipment tier and an equipment level. So right now the starting gear is sword 1 level 1 and shot 1 level 1. The tier increases as you combine it with other things, usually scraps. So like combining shot 1 with scrap 2 created shot 2, so it went up in tier. To increase the weapon level, just watching this bird. Yep, good. That screen flash was the smoke bomb, freezes every enemy in place. So walking down in that screen is usually safe. So Corp just did that to give himself some space to recognize when it's safe to use a smoke bomb and when he has a path to get past the bird. And then you're free to go. So bird skip success.
Yeah, some birds are hyper aggressive and they just charge you immediately.
Yeah.
But not today.
Yeah, like when the room's loading, before you have control, the bird spots you and charges you.
Yep. So this lady is Mint. I like to think of her as a combination of like Lois Lane from Superman and Bulma from Dragon Ball. She's a reporter, intrepid reporter, but she always kind of gets into trouble. But her trouble usually leads you in the right direction of where you need to go. So she's going to help us out throughout the rest of the journey, indirectly help us out.
Yeah, she's a very, very thorough reporter. So this is the, we made it through the Forest of Illusion, and this is now Old House. This area is, I don't know, I really like this section. It's super scary again, in a speed run, because one bad encounter and you're dead. Let's see. We don't actually know about Flavin at this point, right?
Not yet.
Rast
no.
told us to go here?
Yeah, Rast told us about Count Prinky, sort of, and just where he hid the Tetron. We're about to meet Flavon, though.
Right, okay. Yeah, so the Tetron is the Stone 1, or Stone 1 is part of the 3 Tetron. So Rask is the inventor of those. He's our ancestor. We ran into him in the grave, and he kind of filled us in that they're important things. So yeah, we're going to try and collect them now, and this is Stone 2. You've been scaring me during this section.
So yeah, we're playing like red light, green light, hide and seek. I don't know what you'd call it, but Igor, if he gets ahead of us, he disappears and you have to do the minigame again. And if you, of course, stand in the wrong spot, you get spotted and have to redo the minigame. I guess we call it a minigame, but just a big time loss. But you've done this casually, you've probably done that at least 2 or 3 times, because the places to stand aren't obvious.
Yeah, and there's a capsule in the bottom right there, and if you go get it, you scroll Igor off screen, and then he's gone.
John Paul Belmont Prinky.
Count is my name.
He says one of my favorite things in this game, or just the implication of it's one of my favorite things. There's no water in this well. It's connected to the hall, and it's my hobby. Just build something, just because it's fun. Like, it's great. Anyway. So he's kind of giving us the tour and showing you where you need to go. Rask built the clock tower. Yeah.
I build confusing things because I like to.
Alright, scary part right here.
Yeah, so one of the scariest things is when enemies cannot, when you cannot trigger an encounter with an enemy. So these 4 monks, like we encounter this really creepy doll that says she wants stone 1. We have a pretty thing that she wants. So she summons these monks to kill us. After an encounter, there's a brief period where you can't get into another encounter. And again, it's really important how we trigger a battle. If we're facing an enemy and we hit them head on, we are guaranteed to go first, and we need that for all of these. But while we're waiting to trigger an encounter, the enemies can just like wander around. And if you react really poorly and take a bad encounter, you're just dead, and that's game over. So we have to fight these 4 encounters before this door will open up, and yeah, after the encounter ends, you can't trigger the next one for a short while. So it's usually okay. Everything was fine here, but sometimes you can get really unlucky, and then you're not prepared for it, and you lose.
Yeah, and the other thing that can happen is there are capsules that spawn on the field during battle, and it's random where they are. And if a capsule shows up in front of an enemy, directly in front of it, we most likely can't beat that enemy, so I have to use a smoke to run away and try again. If it's a single enemy, I have a run command to deal with it, but usually it appears in a double or triple encounter.
Yeah, and those capsules in the battle, these battles are going pretty quick, and there's a lot that can show up, so it's tough to see if you're not paying attention to it. But there's a timer in all of these fights, and the timer just gives you bonus experience if you clear the battle beforehand. But the timer, the capsules that are in the battle go away when the timer expires too. So if you want to collect those, you have to do it before the time runs out. But if there are capsules blocking the enemy, sometimes it's faster to just sit and wait for 20 seconds for the timer to expire and blow up the capsules so you can use the run command.
I did not think of that, but yeah, you could totally do that. Fine.
It feels super bad. Sometimes you just have to.
Oh, wow.
We ran into our dad's travel buddy, Flavin. He was traveling with them and ended up here, and his legs hurt and his dog's missing. So we're gonna go bring his dog back to him.
He's got
his
a
dog
cute...
like tiny things.
Yeah, he's got a cute little green backpack, and he said I think it has medicine in it for him. So. Parsley
is it a
such
backpack? I thought that was like a bandana thing.
Oh, it could be. I thought it was a backpack, but regardless,
that's even better.
Parsley's a good dog. I like Parsley.
Very good dog. Wow, wow, wow.
Oh, man. I could have turned around for that. Whoa.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty high value guy. I think that's the 500 gold or scrap 3. Ho ho. I think. But again, thankfully in this route, money is not really important. So it just like it feels bad to miss a capsule, but it's nothing that's really gonna hurt in the long run.
Right. Get the most useful key item in the game.
This one's so good.
Yep. Yeah, the light gets used approximately 1 time, and that's it. We could avoid using it, we would, but I think it has other uses if you're to play casually and look around for other hidden passageways in this place, but not sure. It's been a long time since I've used it.
I think you can open up everything in this area without the light.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
There might be stuff later. I know that they don't let you proceed way later in the game unless you have the light, which is really, really annoying. Because at that point, the light doesn't do anything. This guy is scary!
He's always watching. He's considering what he wants to do. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go.
Right. So one other thing that's really nice for avoiding dangerous encounters is that you can't get into an encounter when there's a text box active. So, like, when you use the light to examine that wall, which is what happened, I read the light equipped and we poked at the wall and it said there's a secret passageway. When you do that, if you can see that the monk's approaching, you can just not advance the text box and just leave it up there until the monk wanders away. Same with like collecting the scrap 3. If the ghost starts approaching you, you can just leave the window up and wait for him to leave.
So those hackers, they were acting as guards, but they were psyching themselves out, talking about all the scary stuff in the mansion. And this guy, he's guarding Mint, and he's kind of afraid of the dark, so we're gonna help him get him over his fear. Alright, there he goes. Well, maybe not today, maybe next time. Yeah,
he just doesn't care at all about you running right past him.
Hey, the dark is scary. He knows. And I actually tried to do this room in the dark, and it's very hard to do, because unlike the other areas, you don't have a little light surrounding you, so it's hard to tell where's the doorway. It would not save any time to do it in the dark, but just be kind of difficult, or a little challenge, but... Anyway.
Yeah, I tried that too a while ago too. It's super, super hard without any frame of reference.
Alright.
Yeah, it doesn't save much time. There was one other minor optimization there. When you talk to Mint, she does like the same movement that Kotetsu did earlier. So if you talk to her from straight above, she's gonna walk in like a U around you. Take one step to the side and then up and then back over to the side. And Mint moves slower than we do, so we want to approach her from the side and talk to her from the side so she has fewer steps to walk.
There's only a couple of NPCs you talk to later on that it doesn't help, or it doesn't save time to do that, but most of them do. Alright, here we go.
Okay.
I don't like... Okay, there we go. Waiting for this guy to clear a path. Yeah, you can do this room without a smoke bomb, but it is so risky. I just stopped doing it because I got a lot of game overs from it.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a lot of speed, but we're not guaranteed to avoid damage from the commanders. And enemies, if they hit you, will do at least 1 or 2 damage. So even though we have a lot of guards, they would still be able to kill us.
Nice.
Oh, good drop.
Okay, this guy. You'll be sorry. You'll get in trouble.
You'll get in trouble.
He's not very good at threatening people, but it's okay. Okay.
He's trying his best. I'll show you pain. This is gonna hurt.
Okay. So, he gives you an option between the, either get some information or just let him go. What's your objective? If you choose that, he talks about Blackmore, and the response is framed in such a way that he's like, my name is Blackmore, blah, 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 blah. And that's not quite right. I don't know if that's a translation thing or not, but I think he was just like repeating a message. Anyway, just tried different things out while I was practicing for the run. I just didn't know that he said that at all. So you get some sense by this point in the game who the hacker leader is, supposedly. And Blackmore is the name they drop. But we'll see Blackmore later on.
Yeah, I have no recollection of that dialogue.
It's very odd dialogue. I mean, most of the dialogue in this game is odd, but that one in particular is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so there's a lot that we have to do in this shopping trip. We've accumulated a tremendous amount of money. So we're gonna buy our second robot here, I think. That's not a deviation, right? You still do that here?
Yeah, we're...
Okay.
Okay.
So at this point, Corp can take a bit of a breath. Because if he does get an unlucky hit, it's not game over. The second robot will come in battle, and you can either run away, or you can revive Robot 1. So it's no longer like, oops, I got a bad encounter, I'm dead, GG. So that helps a lot. We are respecking our robot for the boss fight now. So 16 speed is a scary number. It guarantees that both us and the boss have a 100% chance to hit. So it's just a complete slugfest. But again, like I mentioned earlier, you can reallocate your stats at any point, and HP is a stat. So those points are far more valuable in speed and power than they are in HP. We're just going to hope that we kill the enemy first, or hope that he misses. because it's just not efficient to try and build defense and HP. So yeah, we build our second robot. We reallocate our stats for the boss fight. We combine the axe that we found with scrap 1, which makes axe 2, slightly stronger axe, and and we build relay, which you did first, which is very smart. That's the story item that we have to make. Normally in these big crafting trips, I do all the fun stuff first and then forget the story item, and then I lose 5 minutes. So relay is what Flavin told us about. So we're an inventor. Sometimes all we need is inspiration to learn how to make new stuff. Sometimes we read about it in books. So Flavin's just like, oh no, Parsley ran away. He likes hiding things. Maybe he hid the key for you. If only there was a way to talk to him, and that gives us the inspiration to make the item that allows us to talk to animals.
Whoa. Menu management is some of the toughest part of the speedrun. You don't have to do it, but I like to leave some spots open when I can, so menuing becomes a little easier later on. That should be fun.
Nice, good positioning on these guys. These enemies that just like move really fast are like the most threatening encounters. When you have 1 HP, just like any bad encounter and any stray hit, even if it's unlikely, can cost a lot of time. In the early game too, we've kind of budgeted out all of the repairs and where we intend to spend them. So getting into a bad encounter and dying, even though it's not a game over now, kind of eats into our repairs. And we kind of expect to use 2 on the upcoming boss.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the clock tower here is it's got like these buttons like linked to the past crystals where you can step on a switch and it raises all of the platforms or lowers all of the platforms in the entire dungeon. It's not really much of a maze. It's maybe confusing your first time through, but there's really only one switch that we have to hit.
Oh.
So here's our friend Mint. She's being assaulted by this mouse. What? You speak mouse? Squeak?
Yeah, so Mint had a little baby mouse in her purse. She didn't know it.
It happens.
Yeah. Don't worry, we helped out that mouse, and that mouse will help us out really soon.
There is a hidden room in that mouse room. You can like open up the wall to the left, and you can go in there and get a scrap 6. It's like, I think it's one of 3. Oh wait, no, scrap 6. I think we can buy later. It's a pretty rare scrap though. It's mostly useless. But it's there, and it can be recycled for cash. In case anybody watching was really looking for a scrap 6, there you go.
Alright, so this is the introduction to Mama Rana. Creepy dolls, but turns into robot moth lady. She's pretty powerful, but because right now she's in ghostly doll form, can't beat that, or a mouse can easily beat that, so because it just chews on the dress and she gets scared, but here we get just in time, so you don't have to talk to that mouse, but it's nice that get some help from her.
I love that the mouse still says squeak, even though we're talking to it with the relay.
Okay.
My good friend. Alright, so the Mama Rana fight is quite random. If you're lucky, it can end in like 2 turns. If you're unlucky, it can last quite a while and you can die a lot. So like I said, we are guaranteed to die if she hits us. When your speed values are equal, both of you have a 100% hit rate. Our shield gives us a 25% chance to block, which is based on global frame counter, not based on RNG at all. And Mamorana will also create clones, and it's random which clone will take action, and the clones can't change row. So this fight is basically just praying that she makes clones as early as possible, or teleports, takes some non-offensive action.
Well then.
There's clone.
Yep.
And
Okay. I'm gonna pick one. I'll pick the bottom. Nice. Okay. Yeah, once they start shifting around, the clones, when she first divides, she'll be in the center, like, for a few turns, but when they start moving around bit by bit, you don't know where Mamorana's gonna be. You just kinda gotta pick one and hope. Don't do it! No! Alright.
yeah, that happens. It was a super good start, though. You got 5 hits in, I think. She has 400 health. You've done quite a lot of damage, so probably one more back attack or 2 normal attacks should kill her. So yeah, Ampersand died. It brings in the very surprise face robot. We use revive and then bring him in again. You're waiting for clones or back attack?
Yeah, sometimes I like to have a little allowance. Did not work out.
Yeah.
It's alright.
I would have taken that gamble too. I think that. Yeah, if it was 4 hits plus back attack, that would have killed. So I miscounted as well.
There's a small chance we could get a critical hit with the axe, but it's a very small chance.
Yeah, it's 1 in 16 for non-punch melee weapons. So yeah, 2 repairs. That's pretty much exactly what we expect. Not a great pattern. She used clones once, and one of the clones was instantly killed by an inanimate object. Just pretty unfortunate. But a successful fight is a successful fight. So the stat distribution here is again following the same logic as before. We need just exactly enough speed to guarantee that we will hit every enemy that we'll be facing in the next area. And we get stone 2. We get the next Tetron piece.
I think, does this guy turn over a new leaf? Yep, he does. He quits the hackers. So, kind of a theme. When we go throughout the game, we're going to encounter many different types of hackers, and we're going to change their lives for the better, because, I don't know, we're an inventor, I suppose.
It's our responsibility.
As a 10-year-old? I don't know how old we are. Anyway, Flavon's back on his feet, Parsley's ready to go, and we get a nice warp back to town. So we don't have to go through the manor or the clock tower out and travel in the overworld back to Rococo. Flavon tells his story. Him and our father were on a journey. They encountered some hackers. What's happening here? The encounter got a little bit out of hand, so our father told Flavon to step back. So he goes, and then when he hears an explosion, and when he comes back, our father is gone. That kind of opens up part of the plot that we no longer know where our father is, and we're gonna try to find him. At least get pieces and parts of information of where to find him. Something like that.
Yeah. I'm not actually sure how Flavon ended up in Old House. I mean, just Old House in general, it's not clear to me what's going on. Because if you go back there now, it's just like an empty plot of land.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's just Tetron magic that made the past house exist.
Tetron magic, maybe he was tracing back the hackers there. I think that's how Mint was there. He was trying to follow that lead, but I don't know. Okay, time to read a book.
Yes. So the other way that we can make material or make items in this game, besides combining scrap with existing items, is to read from books. And they'll teach us based on our level and the book's level what equipment to make. So there are like a million of these Inventor's Friend volumes, one for each level up to 50, I think, and then every 10 to 80. There's a ton of them. But we read book 7, which teaches us how to make punch. That's a super important weapon, and it's really important that we learn it now because we can't go back and read that book later, and we need that weapon in this plot arc.
I may have forgotten to read that book one time.
Oh yeah, same. It's miserable.
Never again.
Yeah, anytime you read those books, you can spend money at an invention machine and just create them from nothing. So Flavin told us that he heard legend, or maybe saw himself, that there was a thing that matched the Tetron's description in the South Isle. And then conveniently we got an invitation to go to the South Isle. So we took it. But things are suspicious here. Everybody who got an invitation has disappeared. So Mint's here, I think the mayor is here. Some other people that have vanished.
If you talk to the villagers, you get an idea that they kind of worship the volcano, or at least the spirit of the volcano. Whenever the volcano starts rumbling, they get antsy and want to try to appease the spirit. Also, we get to sleep and have a dream about a robot on a volcano. This is a dream of the past, and we had one in the mansion earlier. I think it's because we have the Tetron in our inventory, or the pieces of the Tetron in our inventory, so we have a dream, and we somehow interact with that dream. So it kind of clues into what the Tetron can eventually do, but we don't really understand what that is till later.
Or if you never understand.
Yeah, that too. Something to do with time. That's my understanding of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a tour of the volcano. What can possibly go wrong?
You'll like it. The volcano is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the longest levels in the speedrun. And it's also casually one of the more difficult ones to keep track of because there's a lot of backtracking in the level. And the plot triggers aren't super obvious, I'll say that.
Yeah, they're kind of all over the place. It's kind of a frustrating, for me it was a frustrating part because you always have to pay close attention to what you're doing because you run through the same maps and the same screens so many times here that if you lose sight of what you're doing, you can end up losing a lot of time. It's really easy to just like go brain off mode here. So that power mole we don't have to kill, or rather we don't need the experience from it, but there's no way to avoid that encounter. Any of these 2-tile corridors, you can't run past the enemy. It's better to just face them head on and kill them. Get rid of the encounter. So we're thrown down the volcano because the volcano's fun, and we had to appease the volcano spirits. And we discover that it's not volcano spirits at all. It's a secret laboratory that's using Rococo villagers as labor. So most of the volcano base revolves around the bathroom. Playing casually, like if you're ever lost and you don't know what to do, just like run into the bathroom and talk to the people because there's a good chance your plot trigger is there. So we walked in on these two hackers discussing important things, and we promised to not tattle on them if they give us a stamp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Movement was not very clean there. That's okay.
Made it. So this is kind of a stealth section. The hackers have pretty abysmal vision. So it's not too difficult, but yeah, if your movement is off by a little bit, the hacker will see you. There's like no punishment except you get sent back to the first conveyor room. There are no encounters or anything.
So those gold commanders have a rare drop. It's a lot of money. I've only gotten it once in practice. I think it's like 2,000 to 3,000 GP. So if they drop a capsule, I'm gonna go look for it. Usually it's like either a clean or cure, but getting that extra money could be nice.
Yeah, some of these encounters, there are 3 different drops. There's the common, there's a rare, which is a 1 in 16, and then a super rare, that's 1 in 256. And there are a bunch of early game encounters that have 7,500 gold as a super rare.
Dang.
So I'm sure there was someone out there who was playing and like fought a mushroom and got the lottery jackpot from it. And that changed their whole experience.
Only they could afford everything.
So we don't need any experience here. At least right now. So if we can avoid taking encounters, we will. Intentionally get caught, not here, but intentionally get caught on the escape from the west wing there. Just because it's faster to get caught and get sent back to the beginning than to do the conveyor maze. So we again walk into a conversation that we shouldn't have heard. Some guy was getting the business and got sentenced to quite a lot of toilet cleaning as punishment.
100 years, supposedly. Yeah, it was Kotetsu. He's in disguise. I don't really know what he's doing here, but we're gonna be glad that he is here, because he knows things, or he can acquire information much more efficiently than we can.
Yeah. If you want to get out, just use this garbage chute. It goes into the volcano somewhere. Which is harmless enough.
He has legs of steel. It's fine.
Yeah, it just drops us by some dinosaur bones and not into any of the lava, so that's convenient. These boss toads give a ton of experience. They give 1.4 each.
Nice.
Oh, baby. Jackpot.
Yeah. I'm used to get 1. That's all I see. It's just 1 boss toad.
Yeah. Yeah, triple boss toad is so nice. Yeah, so I don't think... Do we use the portable invention machine here to make, No, the timing of this level doesn't matter, right? It's just sometime before we go.
I think there was other routes where you do use that once you get the gold for Kotetsu, but I haven't done that.
Yeah, and at some point I think I used the scrap 9 for boots 5 at some point. Anyway, so it's not really critical when we get the level, but we do want to get it at some point. And Boss Toad gives the most experience out of anything here. What makes things kind of tricky is that the enemies that show up in an encounter are based on the formation number and not based on the sprite that's showing up in the overworld. So like if you run into a Boss Toad sprite, it's not like you're going to get 1, 2, or 3 Boss Toads. Like the Boss Toad, the first one in this screen that you're entering right now is a Boss Toad plus Quick Bird encounter.
Yep.
And Quick Birds will mess you up. So you don't want to take that one, but the other ones you do.
Yeah, there was one Boss Toad that I avoided because lately I've been getting gels in those encounters, and I don't think we can deal with the gels right now. So I've had to use smoke bombs to run away. But I do fight these gators because they have a chance of dropping scrap 5. And if they do drop it, it does save a little bit of time in the sewer section that's coming up after this. So I'll check it if they drop something, but usually they don't have much. They also drop scrap 10, which is not useful, but you could make boot 6 if you wanted to.
Yeah, scrap 10 is like really exciting the first time you find it, and then you try and combine it with things, and it doesn't take with like any of them.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, sick.
Well,
really good. Called your shot.
Saves like 5 seconds later on.
Yeah. Maybe more if the urchin decides to be mean. Yeah, really nice. And those other two screens of the volcano there that looked empty, there are actually two invisible enemies in each of those. Um, they're like super bosses. They're they're really tough enemies. They have a million guards, a ton of speed, and they do a million damage. Um, they're invisible right now. We'll get an item in Volcano Base that allows us to see them, so that you can either farm them or avoid them with 100% certainty. But yeah, if you get into a fight with those invisible guys, you're either going to die or you're going to run away. There's really no other outcome right now.
Yeah, so we're going through text really quickly. It looks like we're getting taken away against our will, but the villagers know something is up and wrong, and so we volunteer to help them out. So like, okay, we'll present you to the deity, and maybe you'll figure out who it is, because it's certainly not who we think it is. There's a piece of cool tech coming up. I don't know if you wanted to explain it, PJ.
Sure. Yeah, so we're gonna get taken to Dr. Einst's room. Spoilers. And what normally happens that like Mint crawls out of the box and you crawl out of the box, and then Dr. Einst comes in. There's a cutscene, but we have control enough for long enough to go up and grab the key. And if you press on the D-pad while the QFG got key screen, it actually starts the cutscene earlier. So you can actually advance the cutscene a little bit faster by collecting the key first and then doing inputs during the fanfare. It's pretty neat. Like that whole section is really weird. You can like move in certain ways so that the cutscene just never starts until you press left or right. There's like some really weird things with the way that trigger works. But anyways, grabbing the key as early as possible and then triggering the cutscene during that fanfare is the fastest way to take advantage of it. So, yeah, anyways, we find out that the deity is Dr. Einst, the very good guy who saved all the children on his own single-handedly. We steal the key and then go to follow him. And Mint's on the trail, but she can't go in there because it's the men's room. So we use the executive toilet, which is secretly an elevator, and we can find a secret lab here. The pause there is just buffering the search command, because those are invisible alarm laser things. They're turning on and off based on how long you've been in the room, or rather on a timer that starts when you enter the room. So if your movement is clean enough, you can do like these buffer strats with the search command, just to kind of space out when they're going to be off. If you trip those alarms, it just like floods the room with random commanders, and they are frantic and pay no mind to your position, so they're like impossible to dodge. Oh wait, no, those ones pay mind to your position. It's the later room that just like wander all over the place.
Oh. Okay, okay, there we go. Lost a little control there.
Getting there. There it is. It's so hard to find the items sometimes.
To be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing there for a second, but that's okay. Yeah, we entered a room down there, and to progress the plot, all you have to do is enter the room and exit, but what the game kind of wanted you to do was check out the wall, and it says something is suspicious there. And then we just talked to Kotetsu in disguise. He's getting free lunch, because why not? And he says he has the chameleon glasses, which lets you see invisible things, but the good life isn't for us, and we need to figure out how to make it ourselves. So he's like, hey, just go to R&D, it's over somewhere. To the right is what he says. So that's where we're going. Oh, we pose as caterers, too.
Yeah, R&D is locked. So to get in, we have to pick up the lunch, and BioLion will mess us up.
He ruined it. Just.
Yep. No thanks.
Like this guy ruined it too. I have a little timing to get through the laser, pretty consistently, but they just didn't want to cooperate. It's okay. You smoke. But there's a laser there, and it does summon guards, and it's a bit annoying when it triggers, because you usually have to use a smoke bomb to freeze them, or to just time it nicely enough. but I just took the encounter. It's no biggie.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and those guys, when the guards are summoned there, they tend to get stuck in that little neck there. So R&D is just up left in this screen, but there's some goodies that we can steal first. So I'm gonna collect some money.
Well.
Raise the bio lion.
Yeah,
so
that
we
lion,
don't
he gets super aggressive if he sees you, and it's very hard to get around him without a smoke bomb.
Yeah.
So I did not want to use it there, but it's okay.
I'm using it here too because there's a bio lion at the top of the stairs. And it's easy enough to avoid, but we have like dialogue here where the bio lion can close the gap, so it's best to just use a smoke bomb. So we picked up some cash. Cash is always handy. And then we picked up scrap 4. So each of the scraps kind of has like a weapon class or equipment class that they modify. Scrap 1 is for blades, so it upgrades sword and upgrades axe. Scrap 2 is for shot. Scrap 3 is boots. Scrap 4 is the one we just got. We picked up one very early on when we first met Kotetsu. This is our second one, and scrap 4 is the punch scrap. So we learned how to make punch 1 from that book in our house, and we're going to combine punch 1 with scrap 4 to make punch 2, and then combine punch 2 with scrap 4 again to make punch 3. That's the highest tier punch weapon that there is. So punch is it's a melee weapon, as you'd probably expect. It's not the strongest, but its specialty is critical hits. Punch 1 and 2 have a 1 in 8 crit chance, and punch 3 has a 1 in 4 crit chance. Every other melee weapon has a 1 in 16. And critical hits in this game are devastating. They ignore resists, they do 50% more damage, and the run command can crit. So you can do a triple punch that crits and ignores resistance to the run command, and many bosses can be killed in 1 or 2 hits. So that is going to be the plan for combat moving forward. And the reason why we made 9 punch 1s is not because we're afraid of a misclick, but because combining a punch with another punch increases its level. So you increase the tier of the punch by combining it with scraps. But when you combine a punch 1 with a punch 3, it increases punch 3's level, and every level increases the power of the weapon. So punch 3 starts at starts at 48 power, and at level 9 it has 76. 76, yep. So it's a 50% power boost between level 1 and level 9. It's definitely worth it. Like, crafting this thing takes like a minute and a half, I think.
Yeah, the longest menu in the game, but it is worth it.
Yeah,
Most
you
of
can't
the
skip
time.
this animation. But yeah, this is the only weapon that we're gonna be upgrading. There were previous routes that would use like axe, and you would upgrade an axe to level 9, and sometimes also use punch 3. But this route just uses punch 3 level 9 and just prays for critical hits.
And if we take the average into consideration, 1 in 4, it's really not bad odds. You can of course get destroyed by the RNG, but more often than not, you could expect a decent fight with whatever boss fight you're planning to go against. So we're praying for good RNG, but the average RNG is what we really expect.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly consistent strategy. So also in this shopping trip, we're making the chameleon goggles, hopefully. Did you make those first? I wasn't paying attention.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I hope I did.
Yeah, it's always good practice. I can say this because I'm not the one running it, so you can't call me out on it.
It's alright, it's alright.
It's always good practice to make the story item first. I have made the mistake of not crafting the story item in every single one of the shopping trips in this game at some point. And forgetting to make the chameleon goggles is just like, you just reset. You lose so much time. So yeah, the chameleon goggles let us see all of these invisible things. The invisible enemies, the invisible alarms, the lasers, and the invisible doorway in the lab. So that's where we're heading now. Again, one more bathroom trip. Now that we have the goggles, we can go and investigate the suspicious wall.
Yeah, we get to see what the laser pattern looks like and why we do the buffering the way we do. And you could ignore it. It does save lose a little time to avoid the enemies, but it does save that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here you go.
Yeah, the buffer strat's super nice. That was found by Liquid Phase, the Japanese runner. He found a ton of stuff. There was like a long gap in my activity in this game. I ran it like in 2010 for a while, and then like 2015 to 16, and then not again until like 2018 and 19. And in that last gap, Liquid Phase ran it a bunch and found like a ton of stuff. Like I didn't even know that smokes froze enemies on the overworld until I watched his run. I was like, what is all this black magic? What's going on? Why are the enemies not chasing him?
Oh no. Oh, I read the diary twice. Oh well. So yeah, in this diary, we discover Dr. Einstein's not a good person. I mean, we kind of already knew that, but this is in writing. And he didn't like that we read his diary, so he turned us into a mouse. So our goal is just to figure out how to no longer be a mouse. So luckily we have some people who could help us, maybe.
The mouse is so cute though. Why would you not want to be the mouse?
I love the red ears. Like, you didn't have to do the red ears, but the blue and red works really well.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
I love the book animation.
Yeah, he also has red feet. I just noticed that. Okay. Anyway, little boots.
Oh, he does. A good mouse.
So this room is the earthquake machine room, which is triggering the volcano, which is essentially controlling the villagers. So Mint has discovered it. I don't know how she got through a locked door, but she did. She's resourceful. So we scare her away because Kotetsu told us to. And he's like, all right, I know what's going on, that people are being turned into mice. I know that you're probably human. So if you give me some treasure, I will turn you back. So that's our goal now.
Yeah, it's a throwback to the earlier dungeon where Mint is scared of the mouse. This time you get to spook her. So this section's really fun. You do have to go steal loot for Kotetsu, but unlike a lot of other games where like the loot comes in the form of like wallet or bag of cash key item, this is actually 5,000 gold. So you can spend Kotetsu's money, but the game tries to stop you. If you go back to the R&D room as a mouse, it won't let you use it because the mouse is too short to use the control panel. But if you level up after you take Kotetsu's money, you can spend it. And then when you go back to him, he's just like, oh, really? This is all there was? Huh. But it's a pretty neat interaction. So the treasure's back there. There are two mice that are blocking the way. They won't let us pass unless we prove our loyalty and get rid of the guards, or get rid of the people that are cleaning the kitchen.
Almost went to the restroom, but I remember I have to save the mice.
This mouse isn't afraid of humans. What nerve? I'll get you!
It says we're possessed, I think? Yeah, possessed. Save me, mommy. Okay. So we could do something right now that the game wants you to do later. You could talk to this mouse. And he gives you the self-destruct sequence for the earthquake machine. Later on, Kotetsu will hint that you should go talk to mice to, I don't know, figure out what to do next. Whoa, okay. But you can do it right now, and you get the code, and so we can just go straight on through to the end of the level after we get this treasure.
Yeah, he accidentally pushed the self-destruct sequence, and that's why he's a mouse.
Yeah, he was punished, and no, kind of agree.
Yeah.
But he said he didn't mind being a mouse, so it's all good. Because I liked being a mouse better than human. There's that 5,000.
Places you can't. Free food. Yeah. So this is the treasure room. Kotetsu wants the least valuable thing in here, which is the 5,000 gold. The other two items are unbelievable. So scrap 9 is just like a high-tier utility scrap. It kind of combines with everything and just makes really good loot. So we're gonna save that for defensive equipment. We already have the best weapon that we can use. So we're gonna be using scrap 9 to make better boots and shield later. And the other thing is sword 4, which is just an unbelievable weapon. This is the weapon where, like, if you just want to win the game, you just equip it, just glue it to your robot's hands, never get rid of it, and you'll win everything except boss fights. It's not a melee weapon. When you swing it, it calls lightning down, and it hits every enemy, and does a ton of damage. And you can back attack with it.
I can't believe they gave it to you so early, but I'm glad they did. It does make the speedrun very consistent. Well, yeah, because we don't always have to rely on the run command. Oh, okay, a little early. That's what happens when you hit the laser wire.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the sword 4 is super handy for casual runs too. If you've like, so that the inclination is just to use the scraps like immediately when you get them. There are no recipe books or anything. You just like, you get a scrap and you try and combine it with everything that you have. And if you're just playing casually, you're like, oh, sword, I can make a sword 2? Sure, I'll do that. I can make shot 2, and then you're left with like no scraps and equipment that's garbage. So I feel like the sword 4 is there just to kind of bail you out if you weren't using your resources wisely.
That's a nice way to think about it, because this game has a lot of weapons, and they're all kind of interesting. One of my favorites is like Hammer 2, I think, which the Drain Hammer.
The Drain one, yeah.
But the game does encourage experimentation and then trying different things out. Because even like when you save and your mom's like, you could ask for a hint. She's like, try to use different weapons for different enemies if things don't work out. So, like I was looking at the weapon list, I didn't even know there was a rocket punch, but
oh yeah,
it exists, and I'd like to try it one time.
Yeah, rocket punch is super weak. It can open capsules from a distance, though. It's the only weapon in the game that can open capsules from full screen, which is really cool. Yeah, and like you make those. That's the power of Sword 4. That wasn't a run command or anything. That was just swing the sword. Just press the R button. Yeah, the rocket punch is made by combining punch with laser, which is really interesting. But yeah, you end up getting it super late, and by then you have so many other better options. But yeah, there's really cool gear.
The first time we came to the volcano, there weren't any enemies here, but as we're leaving, there are 3, I think. 2 of them we don't see because they pop up. The other one I had to force to get a clear path because he pops up in the center. Just a little movement tech. And this is one of the most confusing parts. I don't know how this happens, but it does. The shaman's been turning people into mice. We kind of saw that Dr. Einz is kind of responsible for that, but somehow we reflect it back. Now he's a mouse.
Yeah, and Dr. Einz was using like a very specific large room-sized machine to turn people into the mice, but the shaman can do it just on his own, I guess.
Yep.
This dialogue always confused me. This is like when I'm not paying attention to the text and I glance over. Like the Elder and those guys kind of say the same thing. Like, these 2 can take you to the shrine, you should talk to them. And you talk to them, like, we can take you to the shrine if you'd like to talk.
Yeah. There are a couple instances like that where you don't know if you're mashing through text or, like, I think Metacrab says something similar. Hey, you should go talk to the harbor guy, the crabber. Yeah. And it says it twice. I'm like, wait, did I mash? No. Oh, by the way, Dr. Einst is pretty mean. He kicks a kid. Who does that? He does. He does not like being second place because we are proving ourselves to be a superior inventor, apparently. So we're going to show him just how superior we are.
At least he didn't kick us into the spike trap like those other kids. It's like a bunch of skulls on spikes in this area.
All right.
So there are two hidden items. There's 1,000 gold and Hammer 2. Hammer 2 is a super fun item. Like Corp mentioned, it drains health when you hit enemies with it. There's like some really silly stuff that you can do with that, combined with other things. But its other good property is that it's worth 3,000 gold, which is just an enormous amount of cash. So we get it just for money. So coming up is Big Eye, and this strat's one of my favorites. What we're going to do is remove our shield, so that we are guaranteed to die if Big Eye hits us. The shield gives us a 25% chance to block. We are going to use Death Abuse in this strat. So Big Eye's pattern is entirely deterministic if you do certain things. So what we're going to do is go in with our guarding robot and go down to the bottom row and just wait, just pass a turn. And that's going to cause Big Eye to, I think, shoot once and then fly over, or maybe fly over and then shoot. Oh, no, 2 shots, right. And then we're going to switch, and now he's going to fly over. And that guarantees that we get a back attack on him. And then it's just going to repeat. He's going to hit us, it's going to guarantee kill us, and then we go to the bottom row, revive, and then Big Eye's going to shoot twice, we're guaranteed to survive, and then he's going to fly over and we get a back attack with our damaging robot. So it's a super fun strat. It can be a really quick fight, he'll die in 1 crit, but Big Eye is also the only boss. Was that a double block?
Yep. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Big Eye is the only boss in the game that can block. And blocking works the same for enemies as it does for us. There's just a 25% chance based on global frame counter. Essentially, it's every 32,
Nice.
every 24 frames, there's a sequence of 8 frames in a row where they'll block if they're hit. So yeah, ending with a crit, super, super nice. Crits can be blocked, but they cannot be evaded. It looks like that was a 0 block back attack crit. Is that right?
I think so. 27. Yeah, so we got a triple regular hit, a single regular hit, and I think a double. It was a triple, and I think one of them was a critical hit. Because you could do 900 damage with a back attack, and I think that's when all 3, or at least 2 of them, get a crit.
The crit should be for the attack. I don't know. I don't think it rolls each one independently. But maybe that was 2 or 1 block, a 2-hit crit. Either way, Big Eye has 600 health, and that crit did like 560 or something.
Yep.
So, if you get 0 crits and pretty good block luck, he'll die in 3 repairs. So we budgeted for that, and this was a 2 repair fight.
Yeah, overall, I'd say average, maybe on the good side of average.
Yeah.
You definitely want to enter the fight with at least 3 repairs to be safe. So our movement has been pretty good so far, not getting bad encounters with bad initiative. So I'm glad I had like, I think 5 or 6 repairs going in there, so I honestly forgot to save on the way to Big Eye. And that's one of the...
I was going to remind you, but you had a good Mamarana and you picked up an extra repair, so you were fine.
Yeah.
It would have... I think it would have actually been impossible for you to not kill him. You might have been in bad shape with money and stuff, but yeah, it would have been fine.
I think the worst fight I had was 5 repairs, where he got a lot of only single hits, like 45, 50 damage hit him.
Yeah.
But even so, like it's not terrible. It's scary, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's super unlucky. So this is the robot that we had the dream about. This is Napoleon. He was made by our ancestor as well. I don't remember at which point any of that is revealed, but yeah, he knows that we're important, and he helps us escape the volcano. He crumbles into scrap. That's scrap A. As a kid, I was really excited because A is better than 9, and 9 is already amazing. So, like, anytime I picked up anything, I tried combining it with scrap A. It doesn't combine with anything. It's a plot item. Here's our revenge on Quick Bird.
Yeah, thankfully, Sword 4, or Lightning does not care about how quick the bird is. Lightning will strike the bird no matter what.
Yeah, so, Sword 4 is lightning element. So some enemies can resist elemental attacks, but when you use the run command, it overwrites the property of your weapon. So if there's an enemy that's resistant to elemental but not resistant to the run command, you can just use like RR or RRR, and you'll get full damage out of it because your attack will be run property instead of lightning property. So there are very few enemies that we can't kill with either single lightning or double lightning because of the ability to just like shift what resistance we're targeting.
Yeah, so we keep the goggles on for those 2 rooms because the invisible enemies that we did not see earlier. One of them almost hit me, but luckily our movement speed was good enough. I also took some encounters on the way because we want to reach another level at the end of the next section. There will be a lot of things to fight in the next section of the game, but getting a few, shaman, there you go. A few extra encounters helps keep that consistent, so I don't have to constantly reload rooms to get experience.
Yeah, the next area has pretty low value enemies overall. There's a lot of just like basic commanders that give like, I don't know, 0.7 to 0.8 experience. And Boss Toad still gives 1.4, so like, if you can ever scoop up a good Boss Toad encounter, it's always worth it. You might get 3 or 4 experience. The experience scaling is linear as well. So it takes 2 experience to get to the first level, and then every level after that is 2 more. So if you find like a really high value enemy, they're going to be high value for a while. It's not like Boss Toad's experience is going to be unimpressive after 3 levels. Like, it's still going to be a pretty substantial amount of experience. So we've escaped. We earned the honorary title of Bye Bye from the town elder. And a dude at the inn said he saw that Dr. Ernst escaped towards the harbor. And we go over there and pick up, we say hi to Mint, and we pick up our next key item, which is change. That gives us the ability to turn into an adorable mouse whenever we want to.
Yeah, as far as this speedrun goes, that's the last we're going to see of Dr. Ernst. If you were to play casually, you can explore what happens more or afterward to him, but for now he gets away. He's a villain and he gets away. That's okay. Not the main villain of the story.
What?
Spoilers, I know. Yeah, we go into our home and we get immediately arrested because the mayor accuses us of stealing his jewelry, and the police listen to what the mayor says because the mayor pays their salary. So we do what we do in every SNES RPG. We get in jail, we annoy the guards.
Cause an absolute ruckus with the surprise horn.
Makes a muffled explosion sound. Wait, what?
It's the wrong one?
Oh. Well,
it's relay.
Okay, we get to do it again.
Sometimes blowing the horn is just too much fun. I've also made the mistake of equipping the light instead of the surprise horn because they both have the yellow triangle on the side. When you're trying to menu quick and you're just like glancing at where the items are, like, oh, I'll equip the mouse face. Like, oh, that's the mouse face that lets us talk to mice, not the mouse face that turns us into a mouse.
Even a mouse gets punishment if you're bad.
Mouse jail.
Okay.
If you talk to Carl as a mouse, he's like, what a goofy face. This kid has no respect.
A lot of NPCs say similar things about the mice. Like, oh, what a cute mouse, but there are some unique ones. I did not talk to Carl as one, so that's a nice surprise. Yeah, Carl, his mother works for the mayor, and he doesn't like that she's working way too hard and way too long, so he wants some revenge. So he's gonna help us sneak into the manor via the sewers.
One really fun thing, this door just north of the entrance is a mouse shop. There's a mouse there that sells scraps for you if you want.
I did not know that.
No? Oh, it's great.
That... oh, only.
Yeah, it sells scraps 1,457, I think. Yeah, it's adorable. Even sewer mice need money. So the sewers are kind of a notorious area in Robotrek because there's this game's equivalent with the metal slime, the little crab houses. They're called shells. So we've been talking about how valuable the boss toads are because they give so much experience. They give 1.4 each. I think this octopus that's going to clobber us also gives 1.4.
We might get lucky. Oh! Nice.
The real punishment is that this attack lasts forever.
Yeah. He hits you, you fly across the screen, you send out a second robot, and we smoke bomb. It's just a lot of time lost if you get hit by the octopus.
Yeah. So I was wrong. They give 1.5, and these commanders I think give 1.1. Maybe 1 flat. We'll see if it's 2.6 or 2.7.
Alright, one for the fans.
1.0. The shells give 30.0 experience, but they have 100 health, they have a ton of guard, and a ton of evasion, and they can block.
Not today.
Nice. 2% of the way there. And they tend to escape as well. They can block and they can guard to boost their defense. So without a very specific build, you're just not going to kill them. But there was a previous version of the route that would essentially crit farm on them. And just hope that you get like a first turn crit that isn't blocked and kill them, take your 30 experience, and try again. And you would farm here until level 18, I think. I don't think I would go all the way to 20. I think it was 18. Just because the level 20 book teaches you an item that allows you to avoid all random encounters for the rest of the game. So essentially there are two different routes that you could use. You could do the crab grind and get vanish early so that you have it for the next 2 dungeons. Or this one, which does not do the crab grind, which is a little bit more consistent. Gonna linger in this text box so that we don't fight the angler, which is good. Angler would get initiative, which would be slow and slightly dangerous. So yeah, just hanging out in that text box until the angler moves on. Yeah, so this route doesn't grind and get vanish early, which means that we have to do the next few dungeons without it. We have to try and manipulate enemies away and run around them. And we're also a lower level for the bosses, so we're missing a bunch of stats. But we also save like 10 to infinity minutes from not having to do the grind.
Yeah, the crab or the shell monsters, they like to go on that little narrow bridge. When that happens, they tend to just linger there. So it's faster to get the encounter than just guard and make them run away. But you should wait for them to move, because that on average would save time. But he wasn't in a good spot, so I just took that.
Yeah, no matter what you choose to do, it's always going to be the wrong option.
Yeah.
If you choose to wait, he's going to wait like 5 seconds and take one more step into the bridge, and you're like, all right, well, now we just lost a bunch of time, and he's not going to leave.
And he drops a capsule with 1 gil. I mean, 1 GP.
Yeah, 1 gold capsule.
Dang it.
He has a rare drop that's amusing. I think it's either Bomb 3 or Laser 3 or something. But I mean, you never get it. It's always 1 gold. It just says one more troll.
Oh, nice.
And the capsule blocks you on the bridge too.
You have to open it up no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, level 15 is really handy. Level 15 we need at some point before the boss, so getting it out of the way is good. The octopuses have good experience, and everything else here kind of doesn't. So it's better. These are always money, which is handy. Yeah, it's nice to get the level early on, because we don't have to like try and farm off of commanders and other enemies. Like, the octopuses go away after a few screens, and the enemies in the later screens of the sewers are not good. Not good value.
Cool.
But we want to reach level 15 because the level 15 book is Shield Pack. So we haven't used bombs at any point in this run, and if you ever see someone use a bomb in a speedrun, they misclicked, and they're probably going to die. Bombs are just not good. They're not good value. Bomb 4 is okay in certain cases, but you'll never get a bomb 4 in a speedrun. It's like super late game item. Bombs are really only used in the run commands as part of RXR, the teleport slash. So now that we have Sword 4, we don't need RXR to kill enemies. We can either just hit them with lightning or hit them with 2 lightnings. So we can replace our Bomb 1 with a stat stick, essentially. Shield Pack just gives us a ton of guard and a lot of speed, which increases our evasion, and that's kind of the cornerstone for this strat.
Been getting super lucky, making some mistakes on movement, and also getting a little bit unlucky, but mostly mistakes, and they are just not punishing me. So, happily accept.
Yeah, it's been good. That's a smart use of the RXR command. I was telling Corp earlier, I didn't know about this until Jin Tatsu mentioned it to me, like right before the RPG Limit Break run last time. But the Sword 4 lightning is a pretty slow animation, and the teleport slash RXR is quick. So if there's just 1 or 2 enemies, it's faster to use RXR and hit them without summoning lightning. And I didn't even know that was possible with that weapon. I just like never even bothered trying.
Yeah,
So,
it does save a handful of seconds in the next section. When we get there, I'll be doing it quite often. But hopefully, I remember to do that.
Yeah, it's a really good strat. I told you to behave yourself. You're an awful kid. I'll punish you.
These door guards are great. They have some great dialogue. I mean, the next guy is the best, but this guy's not so bad.
If you talk to them as a mouse, it just says, "What a cute mouse." They're great. I love that the hackers are just like normal people. Hanging out, enjoying mice, getting scared by their theme songs, getting scared by ghost stories, telling awful puns. If you're in desperate need of money, there's a scrap 5 in the bookshelf that recycles for some cash. But we are sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, so we found the real mayor. He mentioned that the current mayor that is in place is fake, and that Rose is behind everything. So right now we're gonna get some help. There's some person who would love to hear that, and we're gonna go tell her who that is. It's dangerous. See, people are so nice. They're like, hey, Mr. Mouse, it's dangerous out there. Don't go there. But yeah, there's a guard on the other side of that door, and we're gonna defeat him to kind of open up a shortcut. So otherwise we have to do, when we come back here, we have to navigate via mouse rather than just going straight forward. We beat the other guard. I can't ignore that.
I don't remember what this guy says if you don't fight him and wait until after you defeat the boss. I don't remember if he just says like, "Oh, everybody else is gone," and leaves, or if he fights you. But I remember being amused by the outcome there. I'll investigate further. I'll expose him. Well, I failed.
It's no use.
Don't forget to get... Yeah, alright, you're on your way.
Yeah.
So the book that teaches us how to make shield pack is in our father's house, so we have to make a slight detour to read that. We do not want to go into this fight without this. We'd be in for a world of pain. So yeah, she hints that we have to find a way to distinguish himself from the real mayor. And the real mayor is a well-known hater of dogs. So we're gonna go pick up Turbo, the quintet dog, and bring him in to see the mayor.
Oh, forgot. Most important thing. Hold on. Okay. Oh. Sorry, I made this mistake before. I'm being very cautious. Okay, I accidentally made Boots 5 not too long ago because I wasn't paying
Boots
attention.
4? Yeah, Boots 5. Yeah.
It's not that bad. You do lose time due to movement, but
yeah,
it is safer.
Yeah, so Boots 4 are rollerblades, and I'm really happy that they're in the route again because they're just hilarious. So Boots, we haven't had a reason to talk about, but they impact how far your robot can walk per turn and how fast they move. Boots 4 and Boots 6 give you the maximum move range, which is 8 tiles, and maximum move speed. And we want it here because it enables us to get back attacks on every turn. Crispy shot, yeah, you're right.
Can't believe I learned that today. I had to show it off.
So we're not approaching a point of no return, but we are approaching some quite long sections. So we're gonna stock up on repairs and smokes right now.
I'll buy a few extra smokes just for marathon safety. They're not super necessary. The repairs are far more necessary because you never know what's going to happen with some boss fights. But
yeah, anything is possible in this game. I remember taking like 22 repairs to the final boss and being like, I way over prepared for this. This is dumb. I should have stopped at like 15, and then I ran out of repairs and lost the run. It's like, all right, never mind. Woof. All right, so we got the dog. We're gonna go expose the mayor. This boss is one of the few that we are not going to abuse speed strats on. So we've been building our second robot, our guard robot, to just tank hits and never die. We're actually going to use the guard robot in combat here. This boss has at least 2. There might be a third attack. But his Gatling gun attack has a 50% critical hit chance, which means that no matter how much speed you have, you're going to get hit 50% of the time. So the better option is to actually invest points into guard and take as much defense as you can and just take the crits. I think crits will do, what, 8 damage to us?
Mm-hmm. 8.
And we are also going to be farming for crits. So this boss has run resistance, one of many bosses that has run resistance. So our triple punch is going to be doing pretty minuscule damage for it.
Nice. Not bad.
Really good. Yeah, so the damage went from like 28 to 560. Crits penetrate the resistance, so yeah, he went from resisting. I think he's 7/8 resistance to run command. So he went from that to 0 resistance. He has 540 health, so yeah, one crit is GG. And that's the last time that Robot 2 is going to be used to do damage. Robot 2 from now on is just going to be there to take hits and revive Robot 1. Robot 1 has maximum speed now. So we're just going to cross our fingers and hope for the best.
Nice drop.
Oh, nice! Is it going to be
Beautiful.
3,500?
Wait. Yep.
Nice.
Okay, let's see. 2.
Alright, our money problems are solved. Officially solved. That guy's... I think his common drop is 3,500 and his rare drop is 7,500. So yeah, if you get a capsule there, it's just like, oh, well, GG. All right, we've disposed of the fake mayor. The
Wait,
real
wait,
mayor
wait,
is
wait.
locked in a
Oops.
closet.
Oh no. Oh no. What was doing? That's alright.
Sightseeing. See, that's how it goes. You travel through these maps so many times.
I've been here before. I've been here before. I know I went into a mouse hole. Do I need to do that again?
Yep. Yeah, this area in particular, I've gotten myself tripped up a number of times. Like reveal the mayor and then like leave, forget to go to the fireplace.
Leave with the dog.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
QFG got Stonell. Alright, so what happens here, we went back to the real mayor and he hid one of the Tetron from the fake mayor. He hid it in a place no one will ever find, which is the fireplace. So we go grab it and it got stolen immediately.
After this point, like, Mint has been treating us like a kid for good reason, and she really wanted nothing to do with us. But after this point, she kind of shows some respect. She's like, hey, since you're a hero and all, let's take your picture for the newspaper. So, I don't know, it's just a nice little character development for her. And we also learn that Rose was behind everything, and she claims to be the hacker ruler. So we're gonna see what she's all about. But since I got that gold, I'm probably gonna take an extra detour to buy more repairs. Just a few.
I agree. Yeah.
Because Blackmore can be merciless, and I've lost a run or two to him by running out of repairs. But
yeah, the next dungeon leads to kind of a point of no return. There is an item shop, but you have to buy it. You have to fund the item shop before you can buy repairs. So like kind of what we take right now is what we get for the next three bosses. Now granted, we're going to be so overpowered that most of those bosses won't have really any realistic chance of hitting us, but we've seen some things. So it's better to be prepared. I love this crab. So this is Meta Crab. Don't mistreat the crab, but it's fun. The kids captured him and they're poking him because they're kids. So we trade Meta Crab's freedom, or rather we trade the surprise horn for Meta Crab's freedom. And then we get to talk to my favorite NPC in the game. So Meta Crab knows where our father went and how to get there. And we have to go talk to the fisherman to get a boat. And this fisherman's fantastic. It's you, the talking crab told me about you. I don't give rides, but the crab told me to. I made my living by crabbing. It wouldn't be fair to refuse a crab's request.
The writing
What
is
an
so
honorable
good.
man.
I like his design too. Yeah, he just looks like a wise old man. A wise old sailor, I should say. Fish. So, this is the longest cutscene in the game where you don't have to mash through text. It's only 30 seconds. It's kind of enough to rush to the restroom. But it's only 30 seconds, so not enough for me. My restroom's far away. But we're here at the Snow Harbor.
Yeah, my record run didn't make it in time, and like I get off the boat and you can see the character just standing there for like 10 seconds. But it was better than the alternative. Oh man, I thought you were gonna make a really interesting detour and go to the cave. I saw you running left, I got worried.
Alright, let's see what the birds do.
Yeah, these birds are tricky. We have a tremendous amount of evasion, but birds are birds. Is he gonna get initiative in this?
Luckily.
Okay, I don't remember
Sometimes
what
that happens, but got a little lucky here. That's okay. I was a little too hasty. Oop, what do we got? Shield 2. Nice.
Sweet. That's almost another repair.
Yeah.
It's 5/6 of a repair.
That screen is
yeah,
notorious. The bird either rushes you immediately or you have to wait and just get lucky. Speaking of lucky.
Yeah, that bird is annoying too, because if you make it past him and you start climbing the rope, the bird that's on the elevated platform to the left can actually still get into an encounter with you. So that's a fun surprise. Alright, so just like the security lasers in the volcano base, if we get spotted by I don't even know what that thing is, the floating security droid, he sounds the alarm and some other guys come charging in.
Yeah, he's really annoying because he's not an enemy you can fight, and he has collision. So if he blocks that bridge, and he sees you, you're just trapped.
Like this.
Ooh, threaded the needle.
Should be okay. Yeah. All right. Good. Tight movement. So this is where I really feel the loss of Vanish, because like this room in particular is pretty tough. If these guys move strangely, that's pretty good. Those commanders are kind of weird, because when they get startled, they sometimes don't charge straight at you. They'll make like a random 90-degree break. So you can end up like juking right into where they walked. Alright, so our buddy Metacrab, we freed him, and then he ended up back on the mountain anyways, captured by hackers. So all 8 of these hackers are going to fight us. Here they are, both of them.
Both.
These two commanders, or these types of commanders, are resistant to elemental, which kind of makes sense. It always, to me, looked like they were wearing rubber suits. I don't think that's what it's supposed to be. I think that's just their uniform. But if you hit them with the lightning sword, they won't die. But like I said before, if you use the lightning sword with the run command, they will die. So we freed Metacrab, and he's very grateful, and he promotes us to the leader. Now we can get to places where leaders can go. Oh, you're a leader? I'm sorry. Come on in.
Okay. Nice. Try that again.
Yeah, just nothing to see here.
Yeah, that guy right there, he moved down. And when that happens and you're a little late somehow on the smoke bomb, you just get a encounter, and then it's just not fun afterward.
Yeah.
This is Carl's father. He's been working on a aircraft. He's gonna call it a blimp. It looks like a rocket ship to me, but against his will. So he really misses Carl and his home, but he can't leave. So he asks us to deliver a letter for us. So we're gonna go on a little quest, a backtracking quest.
Yeah, this dungeon was always the most irritating part of the game for me. It's only like 4 rooms, but you have to run through it 3 times. And the enemies are just like really annoying. They're in annoying positions. Even if you have Vanish, you have to equip it and unequip it so many times because the combat rooms are spread apart so much. There are 3 boat cutscenes that you have to sit through, and yeah, this part was always tedious to me. But
nice.
it also brings us one of the other best NPCs in the game.
Mm-hmm. So good.
This dude out here is the off-duty hacker. So when we first entered the base, he was out here and he was working on a snowman, and now there are 2 more snowmen. I got lots of free time, so I made some more. I love the snowman hacker. Alright, well, boat cutscene. It's tradition for me to take a bathroom break here, so I'll be back.
Yeah, so again, 30 seconds. It's not a lot of time, but nice for a little stretch break. And we get to watch it again afterward in a couple minutes. Yeah, we're going to deliver the letter to Carl. Carl? Yeah, Carl. Sometimes I call him Colin. And set up. And if we happen to use a few extra smoke bombs along the way, we could buy some. I think I have a lot, so I'm not going to do that. We do want the smoke bomb to carry us for 2 more levels. Should be fine. So we get the letter to Carl, and he's like, kidnapped or not, he just disappeared. He's not happy that his father is not here, but he is grateful for us delivering the letter. So he gives us the litho. And on it is a response from Carl to his father. So now we just deliver that back.
I love that Carl just like inscribes a letter to his dad on the back of this like stone tablet. I don't have any paper, so hold on a second.
I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. So like, there's lithograph, but anyway, it looks like a purple cake to me, triple layer cake. So we'll just go with that.
Yeah, maybe he just had a tube of icing and just wrote his message on top of that.
Yeah, like PJ said, we go back and forth, and this level is very short, but it's tedious, and the spacing for enemies is not great. Luckily, the second time back is a lot easier, because we just make a straight shot for Carl's father. But that's just another smoke bomb. Oh, he made a 4th one.
Fourth snowman. That guy is the hero. I really like the computers.
Oh, okay.
In these dungeons, I like the blinky control panels.
Can do this. Nope, never mind. The good rule of thumb, PJ mentioned the resistance they have to the element, the lightning element. Normally, without the run command here, because you would have the shield pack equipped instead of just regular bomb. Without the run command, you would do 2 lightning strikes, and that would take care of every enemy. Except the sword enemy, well, there's some enemies that you could do with a single lightning bolt if you turn right to get that back attack. Except the soldier with the sword. He just has a lot more HP or more resistance. So that double lightning strike comes into play there. But with the run command, it's just a one-shot. Well, I will have to remember to take off the bomb and put on the shield pack for the upcoming boss fights in the next 2 areas.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorite mistakes. You forget to equip bomb when you try to use the run command and it's redded out. The biggest crime of the game is that we destroyed 3 of the snowmen to make room for our runway.
I didn't notice that, but you're right. Alright.
We're the worst. The hackers might have kicked over sandcastles, but we kicked over the snowmen.
Well, we get the blimp. This is our fast travel item, and we use it exactly once in the speedrun.
Yeah.
If you were to do the side quests in the game, you would need this to get to some areas. But, okay. Right.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like scattered islands around Quintinix, which is the name of this planet. And you can go and like meet Dr. Einz, you can help a guy find his lost chicken, you can do some other like just really silly side quests. But none of those are beneficial for speed. So we finally found our father, and he doesn't acknowledge us. There's also a guy with a pumpkin head here. He is also the hacker's ruler. Everybody is a hacker's ruler.
The theme of the game.
It's
Yeah,
like,
Rose was
I love
with him.
that, like, every plot arc is like, it's me, the hacker ruler metagram. No, it was the mayor. It was Rose. It was Blackmore. So I really like Airbase. This is a really cool dungeon. There's a lot of enemy manipulations that you have to try and do. I say try because none of them are well, some of them are, but most of them are truly consistent. There's a lot of just like hoping that the enemies spot you in certain points and then move in certain ways. And without having Vanish, we do have to rely on just trying to get enemies out of the way. Encounters aren't a threat to us, but they're a threat to our time. So we want to avoid as many as we can. So you still read the Shield 3 book, right?
Yeah, I'll be picking that up. I used to not do that, but then I've experienced confusion 9 times.
Yep.
Bug, so I decide not to do that anymore. Yeah, Shield 3, I believe it kind of helps out with this upcoming boss fight, but it's more helpful in a later boss fight. I haven't tested it extensively, but it looks like it's as effective as... well, we don't take any damage from what I could see. I won't say it's as effective as Shield 5, but not having to deal with confusion is really nice. Yeah, certain shields in the game have certain properties. I mentioned Shield 2 earlier, how you don't experience corrosion with it. Shield 3 prevents confusion. Shield 1, I think, is knockback. Shield...
Yes.
Okay, this guy, sure. Shield 4 is elements, which we get into later. And Shield 5 has no property besides being big.
Yeah, Shield 5 is just a beast. You do use the Shield 4 strats?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
That mini commander that you just fought has one of my favorite attacks. He walks up to you. So if you kill him, he explodes, and that's his main threat because the explosion does a lot of damage. But his attack, if you don't kill him, is that he walks up to you and sings just the worst note, and it's just like this really scribbly, awful-looking note that just like falls to the floor and explodes.
Oh man.
But like he's trying so hard to sing, he's got this really great animation. And just the feeblest, most awful note comes out.
Yeah, that's another thing. Just the speedrun, we don't get to see a lot of the enemy animations of the game because we're just trucking through. We're one-shotting enemies or just running away. But they are some great animations out there.
Yeah, fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, this is Dr. G. He's great. He's invented a thing that allows you to enter computers and walk through cyberspace and stuff. But before they can test on humans, they need a mouse test subject, and thankfully we can turn into a mouse. It's easier than washing your pants. You just put the thing on and into the computer you go.
Says something really nice. He calls us a present from above, and that's a very nice thing to say to somebody, even a mouse.
Mice have feelings too.
Yeah. I like his diploma hat.
Not back. It's a was success. So very important here. They go into cyberspace, and then we can read the book and figure out how to make the cyberjack. I can't reach it. I love the mouse dialogue. It's so good. Yeah, so we're gonna make a cyberjack. Also gonna make a Shield 3. So Shield 2 is like 6 defense and 8 guard. No, I think it's 12 defense and 8 speed. Shield 3 is 16 defense and 16 speed. We don't care about defense, we just care about the evasion. But it does give us confusion immunity, and that's quite important for this next boss. I don't remember if it was just another attempt or if it was my record, but I had 16 rounds of confusion in one of these fights.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just extraordinarily bad. I was never at risk of dying. But yeah, it's just awful.
Yeah, I highlighted one of my worst attempts for that particular fight, for posterity, but 16, that is a big number. I only got to 9.
It was Bug 2. It was Bug 2.
Yeah, Bug 2.
Yeah. Yeah, just miserable. And in a later boss fight, you have a literal 0% chance of being hit. The boss cannot kill you no matter what he does. But he still found a way to waste like 3 minutes by just perpetually confusing me. Just the best. Running this game is great. So Dr. G entered the computer and then got lost. So we have to go find him. The other assistant that was back there was worried about them. So when you talk to him there, you can offer to bring him back to his lab in exchange for either money or information. It's faster to ask for information because he'll just tell you exactly where your father is and how to free him. If you ask for money when you get out, he's like, "Oh right, you wanted money. My assistant will pay you." And the assistant's like, "But I'm not making enough money." And he hands over everything he has, and then he's super sad. And you can't actually proceed with anything until you talk to the assistant and give him his money back. And then he tells you what you want to know.
Yeah, I did that not accidentally, as a joke. I'm like, well, maybe I'll just take the money this time. This is okay. He got me.
Face man's got your number.
Yeah.
Did he catch you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's because of the stairs. You don't immediately go through it. You have to walk up slightly. But he was also kind of facing that way, or he turned. Okay, there we go. That's how you do it. Oh, well, okay.
Oh no.
So one thing we want to be careful of is getting too much experience in this place. We want to level up at a certain time to craft an item. We're doing okay right now. You can run into a lot more enemies and still be okay.
Right.
Okay, jeez. Alright, that works. That also works. Alright.
Nice.
Oh, thing.
So you can't actually use the inventory once you enter cyberspace. So if you forget to change your equipment and then you go to fight Bug and you realize it too late, you're just stuck. One really cool thing about this game is that you can escape from any boss fight. So if you fight Bug and like you show up and like the wrong robot gets sent out or your equipment is wrong, you can escape, and then in most places that aren't cyberspace, you could just change your gear. And like the bosses are really interesting too. Like if you run away and then try and leave on the overworld, they'll be like, "Wait, where are you going?" And then initiate combat again. But yeah, you can't do it here once you enter cyberspace. And get the Bug screen.
What a jerk.
Stop. So stop prevents you from moving, and it prevents you from using the run command. Bug has, I think, 800 health. A back attack crit does max damage. I think a front-facing crit does like 871 or something. So it's not uncommon for the battle to just like end on the first hit. But if it doesn't, I think it's usually 4 back attacks or 5 other.
Yeah, no crits.
Maybe he doesn't have 800. Maybe it's 7. Because there were 2 sub 200 hits.
I think it's like 690 with the stat distribution I have with 90. It's like 690, so it's 1 punch, 1 crit. That's what I've been working with. The front attack, I don't know how much the crit does, but
Bug 700 health. Okay.
Bug.
So, our father, we could have gone and talked to him sooner. And he would have... Oh, wait. No, we can't. We found out earlier when we first entered the leader's room that he doesn't remember who we are. His memory was eaten by Bug, but if we destroy Bug, his memory is restored. I don't remember if it was a memory suppression routine that Bug was using and is stopped when he's destroyed, or what the deal is.
2. Okay. Kind of tight. Alright. No.
These guys.
I would fight them, but we're very close to leveling up, and I don't want to do that right now, so...
Right. I didn't see. How far away were you?
2.6, so very close.
3.6?
Okay.
Yeah, there are no forced encounters before the Scrap 9.
Right.
It's after you pull the lever.
This is my favorite NPC, Carpe Diem Hacker. He's guarding the door to our father, and we tell him our story, how he doesn't recognize us, and he feels sorry for us. Like, be strong, Carpe Diem sees the day. Then he quits his job. Oh, I like that guy.
He's such a good guy. It's all coming back to me. So, our father's memory is restored, and now we remembered that he built the giant planet-destroying laser. And we gotta go stop that. This is a great room. You're in this escort quest, and this room has 2 knights, and if you're not holding left, you get into a battle immediately. And those dudes will beat the tar out of you. They are exceedingly powerful. They're not to be trifled with. And then there's a bunch of other rooms that just don't have enemies. It's pretty great. Equipping the chameleon goggles so you don't have to fight the other dangerous invisible guys. And our father's waiting for us up there. That's where he tells us that he's going to go destroy the laser. But we don't actually have to talk to him. We can just go on our way and drain the water. And Scrap 9 is what we were waiting for before we leveled up. We want to use the portable R&D machine to craft a really, really good shield. Scrap 9 plus Scrap 9 makes Shield 5, which gives like some amount of defense, maybe 34, but it gives 32 speed, which is a huge amount. And it's gonna really simplify the next few boss fights. Reduces their hit rate dramatically. After we drain the water, there are a bunch of these commanders that are now invisible. So when you get close to them, they like spin in place and appear. And there are a lot of them that are just in like 1 tile and 2 tile wide corridors, so there's really no way to avoid them. You just kind of have to bite the bullet, take the encounter.
So we're gonna put points into charge for the first time. It'll be more important later, but it's just kind of like preemptively setting up what we have to do for charge in the future fight.
Yeah, charge is a really interesting and very complicated stat. In short, every time you use a command, it drains some amount of fuel. All of the battles, all of the random encounters end instantly, so it doesn't really matter for them, but in boss fights, we will use the run command, we'll use the triple punch, and then we have to wait, and the boss takes some turns while our ATB gauge, our fuel gauge, fills back up. Since our entire plan is just to avoid attacks, we want to minimize the number of turns and attacks the boss gets to hit us, so charge becomes valuable again. The stat has some really weird quirks where most of the points that you put into it don't actually do anything. And there's some other interesting things about it. Like when the fuel gauge is filling up, you can press the B button to increase the rate at which it fills. It's not mashing though, it's more a rhythm. It's 6 hits per second will fill it optimally. But the ability to manually fill the fuel gauge by pressing the B button is disabled once you have 50 charge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's why we keep it at 49?
Yep.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, there's a really weird, like, I don't know, there's so much that doesn't really make sense with it, but you don't want to exceed 50 because your charge gauge will actually fill slower until it gets up to like 93 or 94. I don't remember what the threshold is. Yeah, so we keep filling the charge gauge until or the charge stat until then, and then we stop. I wrote up like some more detailed stuff on my website if anybody really cares about how it works, but yeah, in short, the points that you put in make it fill up faster until you get to 50.
Oh, nice. This guy is a big jerk, but not today.
Nice. Yeah, the best is when he's just like at the staircase staring down, sounds the alarm, floods the screen, and then doesn't get out of the way.
Oh, I messed it up. Dang it. What should I do here? I guess it doesn't matter.
It's probably gonna be 2 encounters here.
Yeah, you can just squeeze by these guys with good movement, but I hesitated for whatever reason. So, let's take it. Okay.
Faceman is one of my favorite enemy names.
He's so cool. And his sword slap is a great attack. He doesn't swing down with the blade, just slaps the robot with it.
He hits you at the flat side of the blade.
Yeah. 500. Oh, the double. Sword 2. Okay. Okay.
Nice.
That's good. But yeah, Facemen give a lot of experience, so in case you haven't leveled up yet, or Shield 5 construction, or if you took too much experience and leveled up early, you would tend to fight the Facemen to get the next level. But if that happened, you would usually lose some time if you leveled up to 18 after Bug versus 17. That's happened a couple of times to me, but this route is very consistent as long as you can play well.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, nice.
Black Tank.
Oh.
Black Tank. Whoa, nice crit. Yeah, Black Tank has 1200 or 1300 health. So like, yeah, two crits and he's done basically. I thought there was another manipulation where I was getting back attacks on him, but
yeah,
I really don't remember at this point.
Yeah, you can do that. I remember watching you routing that out, as well as a few other fights. I just haven't. Oh, okay. Speaking of mistakes, there's bomb.
Nice.
Oh,
That's the 2
okay, we're
damage that we
fine.
needed.
We're fine. Okay. There we go.
Bomb, in addition to being awful, uses an enormous amount of fuel. It uses 2/3 of the gauge. For reference, the triple punch uses half. That's 3 attacks and it uses half the gauge.
Good block.
Yeah, so Black Tank, good. This is something that I'm actually really glad happened. Because the block chance is on a 32 frame cycle, if an enemy's attack animation is a multiple of 32 frames, you're guaranteed to block it every single time if you block it the first time. And Black Tank's ramming animation is 96 frames. So if you block the first of his rams, you'll block every single one, which is pretty cute. That was a weird fight.
Yep.
He didn't crit you with the Gatling attack, but he killed you with non-crits a few times. Yeah, weird. But again, any success is a good fight.
I think the reason I don't typically do the back attacks is because he'll tend to ram you to the other side of the screen. And if you do get knocked out, it does waste a lot of time because our protagonist runs across the screen, heals up, does all that stuff. So I think that's why I tend not to do it. It's probably not worth it, but I think that's the reasoning behind it.
Yep, that makes sense. There's a cute manipulation you can do in this screen to avoid that night encounter, but if you mess it up, the screen gets polluted really quick. So just taking the encounter and using a smoke is a reasonable substitute. These enemies just like combat is simply not an option. You run. That's going to be the story for a lot of the enemies moving forward. Knights are also one of the few random encounters that are able to block, which is pretty annoying. But, alright, anyway, so we've defeated Blackmore, and chased down Rose. This cool-looking crystal is the Tetron that has been combined, I'm assuming. Stone 1, 2, 3 combined into this thing. But Blackmore is not happy about being fooled. Not happy about being beaten. If he pushes this button, it's game over, and he pushes the button, and we get the game over music, which I think is really cool. Get the game over music and the game over animation. But what actually happens is that pressing the button and blowing up the thing causes the Tetron to do something, and we're sent into the past. And we scare this kid, give him a life-changing experience. And now we're in past Rococo.
Second favorite NPC, because she talks way too quickly. I like it. I wish everybody talked at that speed. She mentions a girl named Polon is down by the river, and that's important to us because reasons. Whoa! Okay. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay.
Good. What I really like is that these quick birds are the same quick birds that are in the present, which implies that they have survived 5,000 years. Them and the gators are the only ones who have seemed to have survived this long. That was a gel that was buried underground.
Yeah, I was supposed to go one tile higher. I did not. And we're okay. So running away is faster than using a smoke bomb, but sometimes you don't run, even with max speed. And that's okay. But lesson learned. So... yeah.
That was the mess plus confusion application that we mentioned earlier, which is just so embarrassing.
But yeah, the main thing was I did not do a menu I should have done afterward, which was equip sword 4. Because I could have just hit that gel and been fine, but slight oversight.
I could have reached him and punched him too, but I'm not sure if that would have killed him. I don't remember what his stats are.
That's a good point. Speaking of, alright, gators. Okay, these gators like to chase you around, but they behaved. So, although they're using the hacker sprite, these are a new group of enemies called Big Fans. They are big fans of, spoilers, Rose, who has organized a theft ring that is plaguing old Rococo. So, I don't know why they look like clowns, but they do carry a bouquet of roses that explodes sometimes. But here's Polon. She mentioned that, well, right here she mentioned that she was taking care of us because we were badly injured. And that's kind of weird because we have never met her before.
The big fans are super irritating enemies.
Oh yeah.
They're, again, one of the few that can block. So we have to kind of aim for overkill on them, just with the assumption that they're going to block some of the attack. But yeah, we go to see what's going on back here, and Polon's taking care of someone else who looks identical to us, even though the sprite is quite different.
I mean, the hair is a different color. That's good. Good enough. So we go into this house, this old man and this old lady, who aren't that old. Okay, I talked to him a lot of times. He is accusing her of stealing his jewelry, and she did not do it. But he doesn't care. So this kind of starts a feud that lasts for 100 years, because we're about 100 years into the past. And we can kind of help this feud. There's a key item we can give to the man, the jewelry. But we don't really care about that. We do care about talking to this mouse. I mean, this cat. There you go. Cat saw that the mouse is the one who's the thief. And talk to a cat, he chases you. Okay. Just smacking his lips.
Everybody's always blaming the mice, man. But this time it is the mouse's fault. So you can go and you can retrieve the goods, and you can give them to the guy. Be like, hey, I found these jewels, the mice took it. And it ends the feud, so when you go back to the present, those families are on speaking terms again. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to steal what the mice stole. And leave the jewels. Leave the jewels there, because the mouse worked hard for them, so he can keep them.
I picked up some money just out of habit. We really don't need that money, because we have quite a lot. But if you didn't get some lucky drops, it would be nice to have, because we are going to do one final shopping trip before the end of the game. This girl's name is Cookie, and she also recognizes us as Rask, and she tells us, hey Rask, where you been? Go to the spaceship in the forest. So we're like, okay. Just go to the spaceship. The forest is a little bit different from the present. There are a few different enemies. You could equip a smoke, but I'm just gonna risk it here. Oh! Okay. Those birds.
Wasn't worried.
Yeah, if two of them charge you, you're in trouble. But
yeah.
One of them's okay.
The birds are so frantic. They're super scary. So you make it through the Forest of Illusion, and we see these people. These familiar faces. They're looking for a place to build their mansion, and for some reason they can't build it here because there's an invisible spaceship. I also like on the spaceship it has an R button, like a Super Nintendo R button on the top, but it doesn't have an L button on the other wing.
Oh wait a minute, okay. I have to look at this. I did not notice that.
It's great.
It is a cool looking spaceship from what I recall, but R buttons, huh?
Yeah, on the front of it.
Okay, the bottom. Front. Yeah, because I would unequip the goggles on the way out, but I'm going to keep them on because I want to see this. But anyway, this is Cookie, Napoleon, who we've met before, who doesn't recognize us, and a guy named Gatto, who is just the most normal-looking person ever. So then what happens here? We're gonna make boots 5 right now. 9, 3. Yeah. So Napoleon was able to identify us as not Rask. He says our DNA is similar, but not quite the same. So he's like, well, if you found him, take me to him, and you better not go anywhere else. I'm gonna go ahead and equip our new boots.
Naturally, we take an immediate detour. Take me straight there. All right, I'm
to
gonna
the R&D lab.
See the R button to the left there.
Oh, I see it now. Okay. The R button's on the left. That makes sense because it's flipped around.
But the other side doesn't have the L button. Just blank. That button could be anything. So when we leave the ship, Count Brinky and Igor are like, whoa, did you see that kid just vanished into nothing and came back? I really hope he comes and visits our house and plays. He's a cool guy. So, yeah, we better go do what Napoleon says, because he's a scary robot guy. So we can bring him to Rask, and,
So one day, shoutouts to Jin Tatsu. One day he popped in my stream. He's another great runner of Robotrek. He popped in and he's like, hey, in this section, you don't ever have to talk to Rask. I was like, what? Seems like the logical thing to do, because he's in bed and here, but we're gonna just take every opportunity to just walk out of this room and ignore him. It does save a little bit of time, but just kind of shocked. This seems like a plot trigger, story trigger, but he isn't.
Right, like everything else here is a story trigger. But talking to, like, the central character is not. I did not know that until he told me, again, like, right before my RPG Limit Break run. I was like, oh man, really?
One thing we do have to do is talk to Cookie here. This is one of the most obscure requirements. They don't really mention this very well, to my recollection. If you do not talk to Cookie here, you are literally walled from progressing through the game. Bring it up when we get there, but it makes sense that you would talk to her because she's the most concerned about Rask, and nobody gives her any news.
Yeah, this is probably my most frequently missed trigger, because there's so much of this that's just like running around and talking to random people and not doing anything. And after the Napoleon cutscene, I'm like, all right, finally I can go to the cave and do stuff. But well, you can go to the cave, but you won't proceed. You'll get stuck. You have to go talk to her first. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do in past Rococo that will impact present Rococo. Like the tool shop is there, but they don't sell anything. You can fund the tool shop. You can open it up. You'll get a 50% discount here. So like, if you're really missing a lot of repairs, you can spend $5,000 to open it up and then buy like 100 repairs at the cheaper rate. But we don't have to do that. You can like build the town hall, and then there would be like a memorial photo of you in the present, and a whole bunch of other really cool stuff that wastes time and doesn't matter.
So we used the drill there, and there was a very inconvenient big fan who did not want to move. I just decided to take the encounter just as he was moving. And that's okay. Movement in here is it's interesting, but in some spots it's tricky if you have to deal with the enemies. Alright, so this...
So Corp is switching to mouse here because there's a bunch of slowing terrain. The narrow corridors make you walk slower, and the water makes you walk slower. But mouse and vanish state are immune to that. But mouse does walk slower upstairs, so you walk faster going through these corridors, but like each of the screen transitions are a little bit slower. It's certainly worth switching to mouse, but it's just one of those weird things.
Again. Hey, nice repair. Oh, so yeah, if you were kind of low on repairs, which occasionally happens, these guys will, on average, drop them. And we do need a repair to progress. Oh, this is the literal wall. If you did not talk to Cookie, that little door wouldn't exist, and I don't think the hacker's there waiting for you. But he opens it up once you talk to Cookie.
A cute little mouse, but even I can tell. So this is Rose. She recognizes us. She knows our goofy face, mouse or not. So we fall down this hole and we get swarmed by two clowns. There is like a really interesting skip that you can do. If you press a direction and then on like the very next frame, press the inventory button. If the clown is in a certain phase of his animation, you can open the inventory before triggering a battle. And if you have Vanish, you could equip Vanish at that point and skip this otherwise mandatory battle. But we don't have Vanish, and even if we did, that's like such a tight thing, and it's animation based. It is just miserable. It almost never works, but anyways, in case someone is looking to reroute this game, there's something. When we fell down this hole, we lost some of our inventory. We lost the drill, and we lost the light. So there's a drillable wall off to the left that is stopping us from proceeding. So as you're exploring, trying to find your drill, we find Napoleon instead. And we can save him from this guy. This guy who's not in a good mood.
Yeah, Napoleon rushed down here to find Gatto, and Rask didn't have time to warn him to not talk to him. As a result, he got injured or destroyed, so he can't really move. Also, I feel sorry for this soldier. Just had one dream. Okay,
hand in hand with a girl.
Yeah, I thought the first time we had to equip Scrap A and talk to Napoleon, that would repair him here. I didn't know you had to equip a actual repair to get him going. So
Yeah, Scrap A makes sense here. Yeah, it is really weird. I think this is the only time in the game where you actually equip like a consumable item as part of a trigger. If you make it here and you don't have any repairs, they at least put a repair in the previous room, like in the middle of this lake off to the left. So that's cool, at least. But it's a bit of a weird trigger. So Napoleon can smash down walls, as we saw before, but thankfully he doesn't explode into a million pieces after the first few. So we have to collect both the light and the drill, even though we're not going to use the light and are never required to use the light. Oh, yes, that's strat!
I was really glad that worked, because I cannot get that consistently to save my life.
It's so good. It's so the clowns have collision with Napoleon, and Napoleon follows you, and that clown spawns in the middle of a 3-tile wide corridor and just moves straight down, so it's an unavoidable encounter. But you can run forward and then back a tile so that you put Napoleon in front of the clown, and it stops the clown from proceeding down, and it tries to walk around him, and once it picks a side lane, you can take the other one and run past. It's a super cool strat, but it doesn't work all the time.
Oops.
So Napoleon brings us here to what is remnants of a broken ship. I thought they were bones when I was playing, but they're not. We can recollect our drill, and now we can open up walls, and Napoleon says he's going to go investigate on his own or something that I didn't read. If you made a mistake, there's an invention machine in the previous room, in the dark room with the clowns, but we're good to go. We've got everything we need.
Yeah. Nope. There you go.
So, D-Rose, Shield 5, Shield 5, Boost 5, yeah. D-Rose, I think, is the hardest boss fight in the game. Oh, the bowling ball throw?
Yeah.
Nice.
Quite an arc to it. Corkscrew. Alright.
Yeah, the pogo stick guy, like, shoots water balloons at you, and the other guy drops a foot on you. They're, like, really great animations.
The foot drop. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, the foot drop is great. One of them has, like, a wind-up alligator, which is actually the strongest attack in the game. It's stronger than anything the final boss has. One of them, I think it's one of the maskers or berets has the sumo drop. Drops a sumo wrestler on you. Just really great enemies. Okay, anyways, we go into this room, we find Rose and Gato talking about stuff, and we see some more backstory about Rose. This guy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on between Gato, Rose, Napoleon, all this stuff. Yeah. Not much to say, but as PJ said, Rose is really tough. Both, literally tough. She has, I think, the strongest defenses in the game. And we don't have a lot of options, well, at least with this route. We have punch. So we're relying on a critical hit, which is a 25% chance to happen.
Right. Rose is also relying on critical hits. Hers, I think, is a 1 in 8 chance. I can double check here.
Okay. It's different with Shield 5, but 2 in a row that's something.
Yeah, her crit chance is 1 in 8. 2 crits in a row is extremely, extremely unlucky. If she doesn't crit, she has a 1% chance to hit. We've stacked so much agility that we have a 99% dodge rate. So really, the only thing that she can do is crit us, and the only attack that she has that can crit is that head dash. So yeah, that is a 1 in 8 chance to crit. We can block it, but if it does crit like that, this is unreal. Then we're dead. There's nothing we can do about it.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring back our trusty Robo, because we need that. Carefully. There we go. Alright, we're good. Alright, punch 4. Here we go.
So D-Rose has a ton of defense, and she again is resistant to the run command. 7/8 resist to run. So if we hit her with the triple punch, it's going to do 1 or 2 damage. It's going to do the absolute minimum. She has 2,000 health, and a crit should do 670, I think.
Yep.
So 3 crits is what we're looking for. And that'll take care of that.
There's 1.
The other route, 681, not 671. The other route that used axe would instead opt for single axe swings instead of farming for crits. The axe route requires 23 back attacks, I think. So, yeah, basically a 23 round fight versus what you would expect to be 12 rounds or so. Punch should end up being better, but sometimes you just get really, really bad luck where she gets 4 1 in 8 hits before you get 3 1 in 4.
Yeah, I think on average, at least in my experience, like, we should finish this fight by 20 punches. The average is 12.
For sure.
And then you get a single punch after your 3rd crit. If you need it. Sometimes you don't. Because you... Okay, nice. 657. So we need 1 more critical hit. Oh my god. Everything's fine.
There it is. There's 1 more crit. Yeah, this is well below average from my experience. I've had a number of Rose fights that were under 10. I would cure here.
Yeah, I almost hit bomb again, so I slowed down. Like, I don't want to do that. Okay. One other thing Rose can do is disable the run command. I didn't know that she could do that until recently when I had a fight that I think I got disabled 3 times. 3 or 4 times. But it's very rare. We'll flash red. Oh, nice. Okay. So that was about an average to below average Rose fight from my perspective. Certainly not good. We got through it.
Yeah, your crit luck was good, but her crit luck was outstanding.
Was better.
Yeah, Rose. There are a few enemies that can use the disable status effect, which is where you blink red and one of your attacks is disabled. There are a few different forms of it. Hers is disable random, so it'll get rid of your ability to use run or right hand or left hand or back, or maybe I don't think item can be disabled. I don't remember the specifics. But hers is random, so even if you get the 50% disable hit, there's an even smaller chance that it disables the run command. But there are enemies later in the second last fight that have specifically disable run. So if they hit you and apply the status effect, that will always disable that command. But yeah, she's a ridiculously hard fight. It's like a really uncharacteristic difficulty spike. I think that's where like most casual players get stuck. Now the repair is really welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there aren't like great places to refill your resources. Especially like if you have bad equipment, there's really nothing you can do here. In the present, if you have bad equipment, you can go to the mouse shop, or you can go to there's a shop in the South Isle that you can use to buy more scraps and make more equipment. There's a bunch of inventors' friends that you can go back and read and learn how to craft new stuff. But in the past, you're just kind of stuck with what you brought. And you can't even buy more repairs unless you have enough money to open up the tool shop. So this section of the game is quite unforgiving.
Yeah, so here we see Cookie. He's talking to Rask. Rask wants to stay here. She wants him to come with her back to planet Choco. So they're gonna diverge, and we'll learn kind of what happened to Cookie later. But for now, just say goodbye. The mouse is just enjoying some popcorn watching this drama unfold.
Yeah, this is such a weird area, weird part of the game. Fortunately, you don't need to have the chameleon glasses on to enter the invisible spaceship. If you just believe that it's there, you can walk up the stairs.
Like how Napoleon recognized you as a mouse. No time to be playing around with that form.
We have 10 minutes. You better hurry up.
Is there an actual timer that counts down?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Didn't think so either.
There's like such urgency though, and it's just on the other side of the door. So Gato, he's stolen the Tetron again. He understands the secret of it. Doesn't know how to use it though. There's some kind of malfunction. And we're sent even farther back to the past. Yeah, we're sent back to the present day. Our dad doesn't believe that anything was wrong. We've just been in bed the whole time since the base explosion. Silly head.
Ha ha ha, you were dreaming. He's dreaming. We did that stuff. Our levels speak for it. How else would our robot level up if it were a dream?
Yeah. It like part of the old Rococo development too is that like I probably already mentioned it. You can like expand. You should buy ActRaiser 2.
Exactly.
Popular new release. You can expand, like help fund the growth of Town Hall and get your photo taken, and like you're in the memorial book, which is really great. So we're reading 2 more books. I'm curious where you use Turbo Pack.
That was a mistake.
Okay.
I read the wrong book.
Okay. There is a place you can use it in the Gato 1 fight. I never liked using it there, but some people do, and it's roughly equivalent. So, wasn't sure if that was personal preference or a misread.
Yeah, my notes for reading books are like, okay, back shelf, left side. I'm like, okay, but not very clear. Right.
Yeah, the Vanish book I've missed before. It's like, learn how to make weather? Uh-oh. No. So we learned how to make Turbo Pack, but we're not going to use it. Turbo Pack is a really cool book, though. Regardless of the boots that you have, Turbo Pack will boost your move speed and move range to the maximum. So if you're using the tank treads, boots 5, which moves exceedingly slow and has a move range of 6, Turbo Pack will make you move really, really fast and gives you 2 extra spaces of movement. It was used for quite a while in several different fights in the speedrun, but I opted to change things to using just Shield Pack just for consistency, but it is certainly a viable way to go. And the more important thing that we got was Vanish, which we've mentioned a few times throughout the run. Vanish is technically a consumable item that turns your character invisible. It's used primarily to tease these children, and give you the surprise horn back. But it also prevents enemies from triggering encounters with you. So you can equip Vanish and run directly next to enemies, and you won't get into a battle. You can use it to slip by the policeman here. And just like Mouse, you run faster over water, and you run faster through narrow corridors. But if you enter a cutscene with Vanish, it immediately is cancelled and consumed. And Vanish has a timer, so if you leave it equipped for too long, then it goes away. But the timer isn't saved, so you can use Vanish for a while, and then just unequip it and re-equip it, and the timer will be refreshed. So you really only need 1 Vanish, and you can just use it forever. but a lot of the movement with Vanish is pretty tight, and like enemies can still block you. There's still collision with them. So if your movement through some of the screens is a little bit slower than normal, there's a chance that the Vanish can expire. And you never, ever, ever want to be without a Vanish. So we always make some extras.
Yeah, two, you're sitting pretty if you're good with the movement. 3, you have no worries if you mess up the movement, so I just get 3. It only costs, I think, like 10 seconds to make an extra one, so it's not so bad. If you're on a world record run, then skip it, but no reason for that. So we go to the cave because there was a large, not explosion, but someone saw something fall out of the sky, and it was a spaceship, and the spaceship contained Princess Tira and Valet, her console. And I like Princess Tira because she talks really slowly and moves very slowly. And even her valet is like, Princess, do not give an explanation, it would take too long.
Yeah.
But we'll see the power of Princess Tira. And by the way, everyone from Planet Choco has some sort of sweet-related name. There's Gateau, which is cake, tiramisu, cookie, blah blah blah. So we got some naming schemes. We also got a pocket spaceship, so I'm gonna make use of that right now. Yeah, because they're having trouble in Planet Choco with the hackers, and we have experience with the Tetron, and we are descendants of Rask, because Princess Tira is descendant from Cookie. She's like, hey, can you help us out? So we're gonna help her out.
Ron, the spaceship's coming for you!
Outrunning the spaceship, so nice.
There are some other, well, not really some other, but there's a secret goodie in outer space. There's a hidden library. One of the small little planets or stars is actually a library that you can land your spaceship on, and it has every volume of Inventor's Friend. So if you missed one and it was really bothering you, you can go find it. And I think that's the only place where Inventor's Friends 60, 70, and 80 are. If, like, somehow you've reached level 60 or beyond and really wanted an item that you already have, you can read the book for it there.
There's also, I think if you stand still in space, there's like a sprite that flies by. I don't know if that's supposed to be Superman. But
Yeah.
I saw that for the first time like a couple days ago. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Not
the
surprised.
Superman sprite's great. I think there's a UFO too that flies around. It's great. So yeah, up here in Choco, we give them the stones for research, or the Tetron for research, and strangely, there's a guy that has the same name and looks identical to the villain from the past, but it's probably okay, because he doesn't remember. So we'll just leave him there with the key items that he stole in the past, and go talk to the console again.
Talk to Valet from the side. He's gonna have a conversation with the guard while facing us. I found that out a couple times ago. A couple runs ago. Yeah,
It looked like he tried to face down for a frame.
Little Wiggletron for a bit. But,
Nice.
yeah, earlier we mentioned that by talking to some NPCs from the side, you can save time on their movement if they're going to move off screen. There are a couple of places where that doesn't matter, and we're going to talk to a couple NPCs going forward. Doesn't really matter what position you're in, they'll just move straight down regardless.
Does he run through you?
Yes, they do run through you. So, Princess Tira does, I think Kotetsu does later. I mean, spoiler. Speaking of spoilers, we got a note from Gateau. He said he kidnapped the princess, and he revealed himself to be the hacker, not leader, the hacker ruler. So everything is by Gatou's design. Then we get a kind of a tedious cutscene where the console is very upset. He's like, well, someone has to go rescue her, and we gotta draw straws and to see who goes. And it doesn't matter what straw you pick, left or right, you always get chosen for the rescue team. I feel like as a speedrun, Robotrek is very good with cutscenes, but they do backload the game with cutscenes.
Yeah, for sure. And these ones in particular are just excruciating. Like, Tira talks so slow. And that cutscene, it's like, can I just volunteer? Like, it's between The three scientists who have never seen combat, and me, who has killed every person.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can, if you're short on money or short on supplies, you can talk to Valet after you draw the red straw, and he's like, "What? You drew the red straw? Oh no, I didn't mean for that to happen. We'll close down the fortress at high speed warp. You can't use the bathroom at warp."
It's forbidden.
It's never again.
It's a good point, though. I mean, you would not want to. Okay, anyway.
It's a fair warning.
Yeah, so they get on their way to rescue Princess. I think this spaceship explodes. Something happens to it. But don't worry, everyone's gonna be fine. And we get some trusty help from an old-time friend, and in the form of Kotetsu. He is out and about in space, and he kind of explains what he's doing there. I think the story with Kotetsu is he's kind of, I like to think of him as like Han Solo from Star Wars, except more secretive and going on missions for people, not necessarily bounty hunting, but and a junk dealer, so on and so forth. But I think he said he was hired to keep an eye on us. I don't know who hired him, but that's why he's kind of been here and there, not necessarily to help us out, but he always lended a hand whenever he was present. So I watched you. What? Common thief? Well, that's just a side business.
It was his plan to get captured.
Yeah.
Get captured and locked up by Metacrab.
Better was the plan the whole time. And somehow Mint. There we go.
And
Somehow she's here.
somehow ended up in outer space.
But she's very resourceful. Maybe Superman brought her here. But anyway, they have some nice chemistry. I'd say they have some nice chemistry. She makes fun of Kotetsu, calls him a coward, and he's like, "What? If you say that, I have to do something." So he decides to help out, and away we go.
Are you a man or mouse?
We got Mufufu coming up. I like Mufufu.
What? Mufufu? Show me.
Yeah, Kotetsu, I think he mentions he's had regular dealings with the enormous Hacker Fortress space station planet thing that we're going to. So he's able to infiltrate with no issue. He's just gonna bring us along.
I like the big space thermometer at the top, which I'm assuming is supposed to be the laser, but
I mean,
it always looked like a thermometer to me.
cosmic radiation is hot, I think. Gotta be careful. Alright. Don't dawdle.
Alright, so this dungeon is legendarily confusing. There are a lot of like one-way doors. There are 4 different floors that like you have access to straight from the very beginning. My first time playing this game, I made it here and was just like stuck fighting stuff forever. I was like level 80, just getting lost and killing things. But when you know where you're going, it's a pretty straightforward area. So we get caught by, well, we don't really get caught, but we see a guard there and Kotetsu says it's fine. We're his protege or something. Anyways, here's some Mufufu.
Oh, we get a great joke coming up right here. The ruler rules, get it? And they look at him. How dare you? Anyway.
Yeah, the hacker reactions are so good. The alarm goes off, the hackers get scared and run. Reporting for duty. Alright, so we finally have control again. The cutscenes are over, we can go do stuff. This is the power of Vanish. We are just the shadow now, so we can just run right past these enemies. I'm excited to see if you get the bug here, because I never really figured out how it works.
I think if you leave the room before Kotetsu, it always happens.
Okay.
But that's just my
sounds right.
experience with it. It's only happened to me like twice. then I just wait for him to leave.
Yeah, that sounds right. So we get caught. The hackers found us, but it's just Kotetsu again. He tells us that there are these locked doors, like that red one. You have to get the password for it, and he knows the red password, so he gives that to us, and we can go through red doors now. There is a bug. Sometimes he teaches you the red password, and you weren't listening, and you don't learn it. And you go up to that door, and like it says the password's incorrect, and you have to go watch the same cutscene again. Thankfully, the cutscene will play again. Otherwise, you'd just be stuck.
Yeah, I always appreciate that. They had I guess they had the foresight for that, or maybe because you don't collect the password, there's like a flag that triggers for the cutscene.
Yeah, probably the whole flag isn't set. Yeah. So we found Tira. She was captured, put in prison. We just kill the guard and free her.
She was talking pretty quickly, and she's also moving a little more fast than normal. Something's wrong.
It'll be fine.
And she knows where she's going. It's the end. Good job. It was Gato the whole time. Anyway, he throws us in the garbage. Luckily, the garbage is where we want to be, because there's a lot of cool stuff here.
Like, invisible enemies that will end your run.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these huge, I don't know what these things are. The things with crab claws and fins, those things, they're called Gagarian, I think. They're enormously powerful, and then even scarier are ninjas. They're invisible enemies who like somehow are really, really tanky, and do 1,000,000 damage. Basically, you just don't want to get into encounters with anything in this area. But we have Vanish, so it's okay. As long as we don't mismanage our Vanish, we'll be fine. So we collected Shield 4, which is an item that I definitely did not appreciate until I started looking into how things worked, but we can talk about that later. And we find Mint, who is also disposed of here. So once again, she's blocking a mouse hole, and we can run back there and hit the switch that activates the elevator again.
Yeah, the invisible enemies move randomly, and towards the entrance of that platform where Mint was, that doorway. What was I gonna say? I sometimes, actually, I always unequip Vanish just before the doorway. And the one time I did, not too long ago, I got hit by Invisible Ninja. And I checked, I don't think they wander up there normally. I think I just got some odd RNG where they just made their way over to that side. But Surprise Ninja is a surprise.
Yeah, we meet Mint at the elevator there. We follow her in and she's gone. But she's probably fine. Alright, so once that elevator is energized again, you can go anywhere, and this is where things start to get truly confusing. But eventually you'll wander into the bathroom again, of course, and you find a familiar face. Blackmore is here, and you have to listen to his hard luck story. Because of his utter failure in the airbase, he was sentenced to eternal janitor. 100 years wasn't bad enough, so he's the janitor for forever. And says that if we can free him from the no-run program, then he'll tell us where the princess is and give us a password and all kinds of good stuff.
Okay.
So we have to go slay our good friend Bug again. Oh, you are gonna use Shield 3.
Yep. I don't know what his hit rate is. When I tested this very shortly, he didn't hit me at all. So our evasion rate's still pretty high, but I'm expecting a death or two, or a robot destruction. But it would save the viewers time not having to watch confusion for potentially a lot of time. But in my experience, on average, you get confused at least once in this fight. 2 to 3 is normal. Anything more than 3 is bad.
his hit rate is 5%.
Okay, so good enough.
Quite favorable. If you use Shield 5 instead, he has a literal 0% chance. There's not even like, you know, a 1 in 256 chance of that. I don't know. The random Hail Mary.
Yep, there. No,
Yeah,
we
there
did
it
get
is.
a crit, so we're off to a decent start.
I think this Bug takes 4 crits. I think he has 2,400 health.
Yes.
Yes, 2,400. It's amazing. You think that it's a 5% chance to hit, and then he hits you like twice, and you're like, come on, there's no way, right? Robotrek numbers are unkind.
Yeah, with Rose, we could do a little chip damage with just 3 critical hits. Sometimes you don't even need the chip damage. But with Bug, we do like... Oh, nice. Bug, we do like less than 40 or 40-ish damage to him without the run command crit. So even if you were to do 3 critical hits and then try to just, you know, slowly go with regular hits, it's usually not worth it. You're better off trying to get the 4th critical hit. Yeah, every time... Okay. That attack that he just did, the little explosion-looking thing, that's the attack that can apply confusion. You normally do not see...
like a hockey puck.
Yeah, you do not normally see the damage from it. But... Well, I might be mixing it up, because the stop from the first Bug fight, that's how he applies it there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so on average, this fight should be over in 16 punches. So far, we haven't reached that number yet. I think we're at like 11. Close to there. I haven't been keeping track.
That sounds about right. The Boots 5 move speed is like so excruciating in these fights. But I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, why we're using Boots 5, but Boots 5 gives just like ridiculous stats. Boots 5 gives 32 evasion. Which doesn't really make sense for tank treads. But yeah, it's like it's an unbelievably good defensive piece of equipment. It gives the same evasion as the best shield in the game. So, yeah, it gives us some guard too, but we're really just using it for the evasion.
Alright, one more crit. I think we are a little bit below average. We had 3 deaths. But I'd rather get the deaths than have to spend 2 turns in confusion. And then after the confusion ends, sometimes Bug is so far away that your next turn is just trying to go up to him.
Right.
So, all in all, that wasn't bad. It was about average. Okay.
So we're passing on that level because there's nothing meaningful that we can put our stats into. We're at 49 charge, so until we can get into the 90s for charge, any points are actually going to be detrimental. And putting points into guard isn't going to help because the enemies at this point, if they hit us, are doing such a tremendous amount of damage that it's not going to matter. And HP, for the same reason, right now doesn't matter. So we leveled up, and then you saw Corp just like immediately close the window. There's nothing that we can do there. I suppose he could have healed second robot, but really just not worth the time.
Yeah, that probably would have been smart.
You have a bunch of cures. I guess you could do it before it gets out 1.
Sure, that's better safe than sorry. Wait, there we go. Okay. Yeah, having 1 cure is kind of the deal with the final boss. It's good to have 1, but it's not necessary. On average, it's not necessary. But we have 2, because I've been picking up some capsules along the way. You wouldn't normally pick up. So because Blackmore's the eternal janitor who's now free, he possesses the keys to everything, including key to the princess's jail cell? Cell? I don't think it's a cell. It's just a computer room.
Yeah, it's like her own private building over there. I like these tanks with the pumpkin face cannon on the barrel.
Yeah, Princess Tyr has been so well taken care of, she doesn't even know she's been kidnapped. And it's not because she isn't smart, it's just Gatto's just pulled the wool over her. There we go, that's the phrase.
It's big, full of people, and interesting.
Yeah. But when she finds out that she's being held hostage and he's responsible, he's gonna show him the business. And when you see what Gatto really is, to see what she can do here, makes me terrified to think what Tyr really is. Anyway, she just... Oh, so you're the hacker ruler, huh? That's right. Oh, I'm a hostage? That's awful. Step aside, kick. And then...
Straight into outer space.
I love this line. You did it again. The console's mad again. She has a history of being violent. Anyway, I like Princess Tyr.
Outside was outer space. Gatto's okay? I like this part too. She tells you to use the spaceship, and like if you're pressing the D-pad or something to advance the text, and you accidentally take a step, she's like, "What are you doing? You should equip the spaceship and use it."
So we take a little interlude here. We are going to come back to the final level, but for now we're going to kind of return the princess and figure out a way to proceed. Right here, the chief has analyzed Scrap A, the key item since Napoleon was destroyed in the volcano, and it contains some memory banks of when Gatto was controlling Napoleon. And it's like he contains some plans of the Hacker Fortress, kind of like a Star Wars plot with R2-D2 and the Death Star. But not quite. Instead of having to have an attack run with spaceships, we're going to make some fruit jars and put them in the engine room.
The blueberry jam, the mustard.
The mustard.
Strawberry jam.
I've been going with mango, but mustard is great.
I mean, to be fair, if you pour jam on the keyboard, it's probably going to ruin the computer just as much as anything else would.
Yeah, definitely not good for any sort of electronic device. And this is kind of the game's way of saying, hey, if you want to do anything else, now's the time. It's not a point of no return yet, but it's getting close. And the first trip into the Hacker Fortress, you probably did fight a bunch of things and leveled up, and so you could read new books. I think the highest level I got in my first casual playthrough was 45, something like that. So there are a lot of books I could not read. But go up to 50 and higher.
Yeah, I think the Inventor's Friends go up to 80. But like, I don't know, there's a bunch of other like hidden supplies and stuff. I mean, it's not really hidden. You just like talk to somebody who's like, "Oh, you're going to the fortress? Would you like some supplies?" And then you can just like go into the room. There's boots 6, there's a bomb 4, a scrap 10. The shop here sells scrap 9 and scrap 10, so you can make like infinite shield 5s, and yeah, you can really get geared up as much as you want. The high level books are like a bomb 4, which again you can just pick up for free in Choco, and there's a blade 4 that you can get at level 80, but by that point it doesn't matter. But yeah, anyways, this is our last trip, basically. Princess Tyra, please take care, go safely, take care, please go. And then we fly back to the fortress. I thought there was a point of no return in here, but I was corrected. You can use the spaceship from like the very end of this dungeon and fly out, which is interesting. It's pretty, it's a lot more forgiving than I thought it was, but still, you want to make sure that you're prepared on this trip.
Yeah, we have like 16 or 17 repairs. I expect to use 2 the next fight, and then the rest are for the final boss. We should be good. Alright. Red, blue, yellow.
We'll be okay.
Top row. I'll go down. Down is bad.
Yeah, down is the mistake that I made in one of my early runs. That's a one-way door. You can go through it, but it closes with blue password, and you have to wrap around the entire dungeon again to get back there. It's not good. It's a really big oopsie.
So we find Mint and Kotetsu in prison, and we help free them. And Blackmore shows up. He's like, I'll take care of them. You guys follow me. We talked to him afterward, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna help them out. We're all gonna escape because I'm tired of this life. And he has a great line.
One of my favorites.
The best. It's strange. Listen, I've had it with this disgusting job. And he gives us the blue password, which is very helpful. Ever the mysterious Pumpkinhead.
The wind has no destination. Mic drop. Slow walk out.
Alright, coming up is some tough movement. Do my best.
Yeah, so this next screen has it has the same invisible laser alarm things that were in the volcano base, but instead of summoning enemies, these put up physical barricades. So there is like a full screen manipulation that Liquid Phase found, and it is super, super tight. But if your movement is really good, you can like buffer some side steps and stuff to manipulate the knights away and waste enough time that like the lasers are in the right cycle for you to just run through. What you're intended to do is, so far so good. What you're intended to do is equip the chameleon goggles and wait for the lasers to be deactivated. And then pass. But that's like a whole bunch of extra menus and waiting.
Okay, well, mistakes were made. Let's see if I can reach it though. Not quite. It's okay. Most of the manip was done.
Yeah, missing that one is not a big deal. When you're going to the reactors, if you trip the things, you're immediately blocked by the barricade, but on the way out, you can still walk down the corridor. You only have to wait here at the end by the pixies. So it's not a big deal. Getting the first half of the manipulation is the more important part. So you have to put the jam on the keyboard in the right order. If you don't do red, yellow, blue, nothing happens. You have to go recollect the jars and try it again, which is really irritating. But like if you're trying to manipulate the stuff, manipulate the laser cycles, it's basically impossible to put them in the wrong order. Unless you're like, well, that's weird. I run up to the red computer and then do nothing, and then run to the yellow computer and put the jar in. So that helps, at least. But you put those jars in and it blows up the fortress. And now we have to go take care of business. What this actually does from a player perspective is that it deactivates some of the impassable barriers that are on the 4th floor. So we're going to go up there.
So you don't have to unequip the vanish for this elevator, but I've noticed that if I leave it on, sometimes I have to wait extra seconds to make it disappear. But if you timed it correctly, you can just leave it on and it will close off. You can equip the second one. I'm going to do that right here, just leave it on so it fades away.
Let that cutscene kill it?
Yep.
Oop.
But the vanish menuing isn't so stringent, unless you only have 1 or 2. With 2, you have some leeway. With 1, you gotta be very careful with movement, because it's hard to make that last the entire way. We have 3, so no worries. And this is the point of no return, this bridge. And Napoleon, in order to get by, Napoleon offers to throw you across, like a good robot. But he makes sure, he asks you twice, do you want to go? Are you sure?
I think it was Jinpatsu again that told me you can spaceship when you get to the outside section here.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Now I know what you meant.
I've never tried it, but I believe him.
Yeah.
It would make sense. And Napoleon's still standing there on the other side, so I guess if you go all the way through again, it'll be like, are you sure this time that you want to go?
I wonder if the dialogue changes. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we're coming up on the final bosses. As you probably expect, they are Gato. I would oh, we can save before the final one.
Right.
I would definitely recommend that. So this fight's really rough. So Soldier A and Soldier B have only one attack. It's this big spark ball. Even if it misses, it can still apply the status effect, which is disable, and it disables the run command. So our goal is to punch Gato extremely hard. And we need the run command to not be disabled, and we want back attacks, ideally. So we essentially need what happened there to happen, where we get shot by Soldier, we don't glow red afterwards. It's a 50% chance of applying disable, so we need it to not be applied, and then we need to punch Gato.
What?
With Shields Pack, it's really awkward. With Boots 5, it's really awkward to chase Gato down. I don't remember what I used to do if he was across the screen. Like, normally what you get is this situation where it's left, right, left in alternating rows. But for me, like, the middle row would usually be on the far side of the screen, so you can't chase him. And sometimes I would have to just, like, waste turns and wait for him to switch to somebody else. Nice crit.
Yeah, so Gato has 2,800 HP. We would chip him away about 100 damage each with back attacks. Without back attacks in a regular hit, it does less than that. We got one crit, one regular hit crit. So we are doing okay.
Yeah,
I've never really had a good Gato fight. I think, let's see. I had one fight that had 4 critical hits, and that was the best I've ever had.
4 is a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
4 is really good. I can check numbers since I'm here. Yeah, so he has a 5% chance to hit as well. I think the soldiers have a 0%, but he can crit with the big screen flashing thing, and that crit rate is 1 in 4. So quite a high crit rate.
Okay.
But generally, yeah, you expect to use like 2 repairs. That's two triple hit crits and 2 single hit crits. Is that right?
Yep. And
3.
triple regular hits so far. There we go. Not bad.
Yeah, that was really, really good luck. 6 crits.
Alright, final level up.
So for this level, we are going to take points in health. We're still not going to take points in defense, but the reason that health is important now is because we're going to use a special property of Shield 4. There is a bug in the way that this was programmed, and it was intended to reduce elemental damage by 50%. But instead, the code grabs the wrong variable, and then halves that, and then applies defense to that. And the result is that instead of having the damage, it reduces it to 1 or 2 always. So Gato 2 has 5 different attacks.
Yeah, we see 5. There's a 6th one if you're not in the right spot. There might be a 7th, I don't know, but he'll do 1 melee attack and then this force screen, whatever. Roulette attack.
Time warp, chrono trigger, time warp attacks. And so 2 of the time warp things are elemental. So Shield 4 has basically equivalent stats to Shield 3. It has 16 fewer evasion than Shield 5. So our chance to be hit actually goes up when we use Shield 4. I think it's 10% chance to be hit with Shield 5 and 20% with Shield 4. I can double check those, but really it doesn't matter. But by using Shield 4, we're essentially nullifying 40% of his attacks. If he uses either of those 2 attacks, we just get a free turn. It'll do 1 or 2 damage, and we're gonna live because we have 30 health.
Yeah, so Final Gato has 5,200 HP. We do about 100 damage of regular hit damage, and then the critical hit does about 600 plus. So we'll be coming up on time soon, but not quite yet. See what kind of luck we get. Try.
Yeah, this fight is each critical hit saves literally a minute and a half. It's about 5 or 6 times the damage of a non-crit, and each of Gato's attacks is like 15 seconds long. So yeah, saving 5 or 6 rounds saves quite a huge chunk of time. And similarly, getting killed costs 30 to 40 seconds. So running this game is pretty mentally taxing, because
Yeah.
more or less all of your time gain and loss comes down to this fight. You can have a fight where you get 2 crits, and you can have a fight where you get 5 crits.
There's one. Right.
Nice, good start.
I think a good split time is like 7 minutes or less.
Yeah,
I've had
that sounds right.
fights last longer than 12. So
Yep.
see what happens.
That also sounds right. This is the one attack we do not want to see. This attack is unblockable and it can crit. By unblockable, I mean you can still evade it, but blocking meaning like the shield tank, where you nullify damage independent of evasion stat. So if you're going to die, it's usually going to be that attack.
Nice. Every shield block is great.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, melee attack is his quickest attack animation, and I mean, obviously not getting hit means that you don't die and lose 2 rounds, and not getting pushed back means that you don't have to sit through the long trek back across the field. 2 crits is quite good luck so far.
Oh. Favorite background.
Yeah, this one is not what we want. We want to see the snowy plains.
Nice.
Or the another
Oh.
that's really good.
2100, almost halfway through.
3 crits and no deaths right now is outstanding.
Oh! Halfway through.
Oh my god. It's like 4 out of 8 right now. Oh my This crit rate. So, like, for perspective, a really good fight is 5 crits. I think my best ever is 6. This is a background we want to see. This is a free turn. Yeah, we did about 3,100 damage from crits alone right now, and probably another 600 from non-crits.
Oh my god! Coming up on time.
Yeah. Probably 4,300 damage in.
Come on, you can miss. You can miss. Very nice. Alright.
Bomb is also passable. He does have a pretty good chance to kill us without a crit. But, yeah, bomb I'm always happy to see. I mean, really anything except for the battlefield.
Yep. I think
Is a good attack.
feels like a 1 in 3 chance with the missile bomb attack that we get hit. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can do it. Come on, we blocked it before. Oh, I heard a tink, but they hit you multiple times, I think.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, and the attacks are spaced out such that you can't block all of them. So the scary thing is that you have to bring Robot 1 back in. And sometimes you can get caught. You can get caught in this loop where you revive Robot 1, you bring him back in, and he gets immediately trashed again.
And time. Really good fight.
7 crits. That's the most I've ever seen.
GG.
That was an outrageous fight.
Well, that's Robotrek, and we get a great ending that is very confusing.
It's a perfect ending.
Yeah. QFG crisis. All right, Doctor.
I love the text. We talked right through it, but the text right before you you enter the time machine and fight Gato, you get a pep talk from. Is it even your dad or is it just Nagisa?
I think it's Nagisa. Yeah. Like your dad and I like you a lot. Good luck.
I'm sure you're important to your friends. Be careful. Go for broke. Very confusing. Confusing pep talk. Some mixed messages.
Yeah, Robotrek's a great game. If anyone hasn't played it, it is worth a playthrough. For the dialogue alone, but the mechanics of as an RPG are solid. I like them a lot. I wish they made a sequel. Maybe we'll get one in the future.
Yeah, and it's a super good casual game too. Like there's so much to explore, so much equipment that you never see in a speedrun. Like we used essentially 2 weapons for the whole game. And there's just so much cool stuff, so many interesting interactions in battle and out of battle. Super fun game.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you Questing for Glory RPG Limit Break for having me. And thank you PJ, of course, for excellent, stellar commentary.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for running this.
So I think we're still on schedule. There are a lot more runs coming up for Questing for Glory. And there's one more day tomorrow, so be sure to check it out. There is a long credit sequence to Robotrek where you get some nice festival music. But if it's okay,
it's nearly 20 minutes long.
Yeah, it's pretty long. It's pretty long. Okay, we could turn it over to the next setup. Brew in the next game.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night or a good day, wherever you may be.